government. It's a government which has purchased it to use against the opposition.
Well, while Rahul Gandhi has a rather dim view on India's democracy as well as sovereignty, here's what world leaders are saying about India. Let's remind you how Joe Biden, the US president, had said in May last year. He said that India shows that a democracy can deliver. Then in March, earlier this year, you had Australian Minister at Quad saying India is a critical, great power which is crucial for Indo-Pacific. Then you had Bill Gates, the Microsoft co-founder, who had said that India can become the innovation hub for the world. You had the UNGA president in September last year saying that international community has much to learn from India. Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, had said last year in September that India is a key international player. Then there are several others. Even the Jamaican foreign minister, Kamini Smith, had said that India has always been a reliable partner. But Rahul Gandhi seems to disagree with all these world leaders who have been hailing India. In fact, another thing that Rahul Gandhi had said is that India is a union just like Europe. For this, he cites the Constitution. But Rahul's understanding of the term may be rather selective. In fact, let's tell you what he seems to have forgotten. Sample this. What does the Constitution say? It says, I'm going to quote it here, "We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens." This is what the first word, as I had mentioned earlier, the first tenet that it lays emphasis on. The makers of the Constitution chose the word sovereignty. Also, you have the fundamental duties under Article 15A, which says it is everyone's duty, every Indian citizen's duty to uphold and protect the sovereignty, the unity and integrity of India. Let's also remind you what the father of the Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, as he was called, had also said this during one of the debates which was happening about in the Constitutional Assembly. He was asked directly, why is it that India has been called a union of states? In which his answer was this, I'm going to quote him here, that India's federation was not the result of an agreement by the states to join it. No state has the right to secede. The federation is a union because it is indestructible. The country is divided into different states for the convenience of administration, but the country is one integral whole. Its people live under a single imperium derived from the single source. Well, there you have it. This is the father of the Indian Constitution. Did Rahul Gandhi understand the nuances of his arguments? Well, let me go across to our panelists. Joining us today on the show here on India Upfront, Sanju Verma is joining us, national spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, is here on the show. Sanjay Jha is joining us, and author, also Professor Monojit Mondal, spokesperson with the TMC. Lokesh Jindal is joining us, a leader of the Congress party. Mr. Jindal, I'm going to come to you first. After all, this is your leader. Because I was just reminding all our viewers and all the Indians out there that Ambedkar had said that the federation is a union because it is indestructible. It all comes from the same genesis, that India and its people are one. Did Rahul Gandhi misunderstand the Constitution and its basic tenet of sovereignty of Ek India when he made those comments in Cambridge?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Rather, I would like to appeal to all our viewers that one must really watch that entire lecture that has been delivered by Rahul Gandhi ji in the Cambridge University to understand the exact essence within which he has said whatever statements that have been delivered. Now, coming to the point of the nature of federation that India is. Now, the entire, if you see the entire Constituent Assembly debates and you look at the manner in which India was constituted into a nation, you see that this integration was the outcome of a process. So the manner in which Europe integrated gradually, unification of Germany, unification of Italy, from Holy Roman Empire towards nation states, Europe slowly and steadily evolving into a nation state, ultimately culminating into a European Union. And then it went ahead with some form of a role model to the globe, how to coexist together with diverse religious communities and languages coming together and staying together. Similarly, when I'm talking about India as a nation, it underwent a gradual integration whereby we had princely states, we had linguistic regions, which were
I don't like to
slowly and
interrupt,
steadily.
but I will have to, because you're drawing this parallel very categorically. B.R. Ambedkar, let's just say our father of a constitution who scripted what India should be looking towards, he himself said that the people in India live under single imperium derived from a single source. That is not the case of Europe, as you well know.
No, see, when you are talking about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's statement that was delivered when the Constituent Assembly was still deliberating upon the constitutional framework. Even prior to that, we had a process which led to integration of princely states and regions forming one union. Whatever statements Dr. Ambedkar gave, it was with respect to the nature of union that was to be constituted by the Constitution. So you cannot, the idea of India as a nation was to evolve gradually and slowly within the framework of this constitution that was to be framed by the Constituent Assembly.
And that is precisely the way that we want India to progress, based on what our constitution tells us. Till date we followed, it's not a process. Let me go across to Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, let's take that position from what Congress holds, because at the end of it, even you had Constitution's Article 1, which very clearly says that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. If Rahul Gandhi today goes to Cambridge and says that, why do you have a grouse against him?
You know, Meghna, before I give my arguments, I just want to say a couple of lines. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. If turnips were watches, I would have one by my side. If turnips were watches, I would have one by my side. यदि राहुल गांधी होता बुद्धिमान, यदि राहुल गांधी होता बुद्धिमान, तो बार बार राहुल और उसकी कांग्रेस पार्टी का ना होता इतना घोर अपमान. So let's be very clear that Rahul Gandhi is a man. Each time he is abroad, the narrative is democracy khatre mein hai. And democracy has been under attack as far as Rahul Gandhi and his darbaris are concerned since May 2014, since Prime Minister Narendra Modi took charge. I will categorically and very quickly, without being too verbose, lay down the arguments. A, he said democracy khatre mein hai. So please understand, Mr. Gandhi, democracy was in danger in 1975 under your grandmother Indira Gandhi. Democracy was in danger when Congress Chief Minister in Bihar in 1982, Jagannath Mishra, used to threaten press walas who dared to write anything against Mrs. Gandhi. Democracy was in khatra in 1975 when the Congress Chief Minister Siddharth Shankar Ray in West Bengal threatened physical liquidation of newspaper officers who dared to print anything against Indira. Democracy was in khatra when B.G. Varghese, the editor-in-chief of Hindustan Times, was sacked for daring to write an article against Sanjay Gandhi. Democracy was in khatra when under Jawaharlal Nehru, Majroo Sultanpuri was arrested for 1 whole year for writing a small couplet against Jawaharlal Nehru. Democracy is fine currently. You don't have to worry. Coming to Pegasus, I just have this to say, Meghna, because Pegasus has been the epic center of the entire narrative that Rahul Gandhi has tried to spin around at Cambridge. I just have this to say. The Supreme Court said, please give the 29 phones which are reportedly hacked to a 3-member Supreme Court committee. Why did Rahul Gandhi not submit his phone? I will tell you one thing, Meghna. There was a famous case that under the Congress P. Chidambaram, the Home Minister was actually spying on the then Finance Minister of the Congress, Pranab Mukherjee. In 2006,
in all fairness, even those charges were not at the time proven. So we don't really know what happened. And much like in the case of Pegasus, because we'll come back to that later, because we also know how the Supreme Court panel also said that the centre had refused to cooperate when that probe was on. We'll come back and discuss more on that. But since you were talking about the different things that Rahul Gandhi over the years have been speaking about, let's not forget this is not the first time that the Congress MP had questioned the idea of Ek Bharat. In fact, last year, during the Cambridge University lecture, Rahul Gandhi had said that India is not a nation but a union of states, something that he's repeated this time around. Let's remind our viewers how he was fact-checked by an Indian scholar present at the seminar in Cambridge. I'll come back to our panelists, but let's listen in to what had happened last year in Cambridge when Rahul Gandhi repeated the same thing when he was fact-checked by an Indian student who was there.
Bharat is a union of states. That is the line that is written in our constitution. India is not described as a nation. It is described as a union of states.
You quoted Article 1 of the Constitution saying India, that is Bharat, is a union of states as per the Constitution. But if you turn a page back and look at the preamble, it does mention that India is a nation. Bharat itself is one of the oldest surviving civilizations of the world. And the term finds its origin in the Vedas. So we have a really old civilization. So Chanakya, even Chanakya, when he interacted with his students in Takshashila, he made it clear to them that they might belong to different Mahajanpads, but ultimately they belong to a nation that is Bharat.
Well, Monojit Mondal, there you have it. That was the last time what had happened. And again, Rahul Gandhi's made a statement such as this at a time, and let's look at the timing here. You have India hosting the G20 leaders in India. Then you have the Quad leaders who are currently here in Delhi. They've gone into a huddle. At a time when leaders are saying India's democracy has delivered, why malign India internationally?
No, I'd like to show this video coming very fresh from Tripura. The example of post-poll violence and that BJP style of democracy. Opposition's house are being burned, torched, they are being harassed. And the saddest part of the story is that not a single media coverage. And there lies the problem with Indian democracy. But to articulate that problem, I do not need to go to Cambridge. We'll do it here. We'll run down the government, we'll criticize the government, we'll ask them to toe the line of the people. Democracy is in danger in India, which was definitely proven by the Supreme Court order yesterday. One was one major thumping or slap on the face of the government, where the Supreme Court of India actually expressed their doubt in the judiciousness of the government's appointment in such highest constitutional office was supposed to protect the fabric of Indian democracy by holding free and fair election. But again, to articulate that issue, I do not.
But your party is in power. Was that not a free and fair election when TMC came to power in Bengal?
I did not say that.
Okay.
But within that free and fair election, quote unquote, Mamta Di was banned for no reason. She was banned from campaigning.
No.
And for the same kind of quote unquote election misconduct, the opposition leaders were not done anything. They were not even touched by the election commission. Even in Gujarat very recently, we saw what happened during the election. Forget about that. Come back to the handles of the government or BJP, I should be saying, CBI and ED. How the appointments are done.
That wasn't my question to you, however.
No, I'm talking about.
You seem to have digressed. You seem to have digressed a bit.
I'm not digressing. The core issue is democracy and crisis in India.
Okay, you're saying that there is a crisis of democracy in India. Dr. Ranganathan, I'll come to you here.
The core narrative
Dr. Ranganathan, the opposition now says if we are raising alarm bells that democracy is under threat, sovereignty is under threat, what's wrong? We'll criticize in India and outside India. After all, Prime Minister Modi. Allow me to speak, Professor Mondal, you've had your say. Let me go across to Dr. Ranganathan.
No, madam, 10 seconds. This is also one of the problems that we need to articulate, and we have been. We are not even allowed to make our points inside the TV studio.
You wouldn't have had the time if we hadn't called you, we invited you.
Anchor, I'm not saying that. You are an extremely bipartisan anchor. In fact, most of the media houses are. Nonetheless, we are not even allowed to take our voice to the people properly. We are muddled. Our voices
I think it's very convenient for you to shoot the messenger here. You'd rather evade the entire discussion and shoot me down for asking questions. You may not like the questions that I'm asking, but say, if I don't have answers, you must be bipartisan, and which is why it's the fault of the anchor. It's the simplest trick in the world. Blame the media, shoot the messenger. Dr. Ranganathan, I'm going to come to you here. When you had Prime Minister Modi, when he was not the Prime Minister, he also had said, I am ashamed that I have come from India today. I am ashamed to be born in India. He too had gone and criticized India when he was not in power. Why shouldn't opposition leaders today criticize India? What's wrong in questioning?
Good evening. There is absolutely nothing wrong in questioning. But the fact of the matter is, there is everything wrong in lying about India. That is the thing. And breathing sense into Rahul Gandhi, honestly, is like giving CPR to a dodo. The truth is, Rahul is incapable of defeating Modi because Rahul is incapable of emulating Modi. Let me explain. Let us take 3 heavily anti-incumbent BJP states, all right? 1 large, 1 medium, and 1 small. And see how BJP has fared in the recent elections. Large state, UP, landslide. Medium state, Gujarat, landslide. Small state, Tripura, landslide. Why is this happening? Look at Tripura. In 9 years, BJP vote share increased from 1% to 40%. Why? Because tap water connections increased from 3% to 56% households. Because Ayushman Bharat increased from 1% to 60% families. And look at Congress in these 3 states. Near total wipeout. Modi is delivering on his promises. Rahul is going back on his promises, like promising the 3 farm reforms and CAA, then promptly doing a U-turn. Now let me expose his rhetoric. Number 1, Rahul bemoans democracy is under threat under Modi. Let me inform this industrial scale liar that the real test for democracy is the independence of 2 institutions, Supreme Court and Election Commission. And under Modi, these 2 are not compromised, whatever their failings may be. Everything else in an Indian democracy is being stifled as much now as it has ever been, because sadly there is constitutional approval for it, like for example of freedom of speech. And what stifling of democracy is Rahul talking of when a professor is arrested for sharing a Mamata Devi cartoon in Bengal and acquitted after 11 years? Or when the communist government in Kerala books 120 people for social media posts criticizing CM Vijayan? Or when there exists as many as 275 documented instances of brutal trampling of democracy under the Congress, 87 of those in the last 15 years, including 9,000 activists charged with sedition in a single day. Truth is, Rahul himself subverted democracy by supporting and fanning the illegal Shaheen Bagh and anti-farm bill blockade protests. Truth is, Modi has never unilaterally overturned a Supreme Court verdict like Rajiv, never abused Article 356 like Indira, never passed a press objectionable act like Nehru. Now briefly, just 1 minute, 2. As for his claim that Modi is anti-minority, let me educate this turnip further. Minorities before 2014. 20,000 skill trained, 5% government jobs, 3 crore scholarships.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Mondal, you will reply.
School dropout rate. Minorities after 2014, 2 million skill trained, 10% with government jobs, 5 crore scholarships, free UPSC coaching, 30% girls school dropout rate, while our Muslim population is 14.2%, as many as 31.3% of homes under Awas Yojana, 33% of funds under Kisan Samman Nidhi, and 36% beneficiaries under Mudra Yojana have been Muslim. Just 20 seconds. Housing, skilling, scholarships, government jobs. No other prime minister has comparatively done more for minorities than Modi. Just 10 seconds. Modi is delivering growth. Rahul is delivering anarchy.
I will again be accused of giving you too much time, Dr. Ranganathan. Sanjay Jha has an amused look on his face. Sanjay Jha has an amused look on his face. Would you at least take the limited point that perhaps Congress and TMC should not be the ones talking about democracy? After all, the legacies of Shah Bano, the legacies of emergency come from some of Congress's own history. Sanjay Jha.
Hi, Meghna, I think you need to fix your audio because every 5 seconds it all disappears for 20 seconds and I just hear you intermittently. So I'm assuming you've asked me to comment on Rahul Gandhi's speech at Cambridge. If there is no interruption, I will take just 1 minute to wrap it up. To all the cheerleaders of Mr. Modi, सबसे पहले आपसे एक छोटा सा प्रश्न है भैया, जरा बोले भारत के प्रधानमंत्री को 9 साल हो गए चुनाव जीते हुए, 2 बार जीते हैं, एक बार भी हिम्मत नहीं है प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने का। अरे भैया इतना डरपोक का जैसा बनने का कोई जरूरत नहीं है। आप भयभीत क्यों हैं? आपको किस बात का डर है? सच्चाई का डर है, लेकिन सच्चाई का सामना करना पड़ेगा, आज नहीं तो कल सामना करना पड़ेगा। एंड लेट मी टेल यू मेघना, there has been a typo in this G20 promotion that Mr. Modi's government
Let
is
Mr.
doing.
Jha speak.
This
I'll
is
come
not,
to you, Sanju.
This is not mother of democracy.
I'll come back to you, Sanju
It is
Verma. Let
murder
Mr.
of
Jha
democracy.
finish.
It is not mother of democracy, it is murder of democracy. और आपको उदाहरण के तौर पर मैं कुछ कहना चाहूंगा। अब आप देखिए, Indian Express did a survey. ED since 2014 has got 124 cases against politicians. 95% against the opposition. और आज आपने देखा होगा कि कर्नाटका में एक बीजेपी के एमएलए और उनके बेटे ने 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए उनके घर से ऑफिस से निकल रहे हैं। कोई ईडी रेड हुआ है, कोई आईटी रेड हुआ है? तो देखिए ये लोग जो है झूठी एकदम बिल्कुल भारत के प्रजातंत्र के साथ मजाके उड़ा रहे हैं। और एक और बात आपको बताना चाहेंगे, सुप्रीम कोर्ट को यह कहना पड़ता है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन का मजाक मत उड़ाइए, इसका चयन जो है उसी तरीके से होगा जैसे सीबीआई का होगा। भारत का प्रजातंत्र को तो इन्होंने गला घोटी दिया है और अब मोदी जी यहाँ पर G20 से अपना यहाँ प्रमोशन कर रहे हैं। देखिए मेघना जी, द ट्रूथ ऑफ लाइफ
Many would ask, but Sanju Verma, he's made a relevant point there when he says that 95% of the cases, as per the research, 95% of the cases of the Enforcement Directorate are against opposition leaders. What is the conviction rate? It is less than 0.5% for the Enforcement Directorate. Is not selective targeting, and if it is selective targeting, where is democracy then?
Meghna, I could not complete what I was saying last time. I hope you will give me enough time. First and foremost, since Sanjay Jha, has spoken in a शायराना अंदाज, तो मैं इनको शायराना अंदाज में पहले जवाब दे दूं। यहाँ तहजीब भी दिखती है, यहाँ फरमान भी दिखते हैं। यहाँ तहजीब भी दिखती है, यहाँ फरमान भी दिखते हैं। तुम अपना दाम तो बोलो, तुम अपना दाम तो बोलो, यहाँ अरमान भी दिखते हैं। तुम अपना दाम तो बोलो, यहाँ अरमान भी दिखते हैं। मेघना, you did not allow me to heckle him. Can you please do the needful now?
Go ahead, Sanju Verma. Finish your point.
आप लेक्चर दे रही हैं।
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I've been accused from both sides of the ideological boundary of having favored the other ideological side. But look at your screen. You have 2 of them trying to defend the government. Nanan Ranganathan not really doing that fully also, but 3 of them against the government. I would make a small request. Please do not heckle each other. If we are talking about democracy, let's at least show each other that respect to listen to each other. That's a small request to all our panelists. Go ahead, finish your point, Sanju Verma.
Thank you, Meghna. तो अभी संजय झा जी, without interruption, let me tell you, यहाँ तहजीब भी दिखती है, यहाँ फरमान भी दिखते हैं, यहाँ तहजीब भी दिखती है, यहाँ फरमान भी दिखते हैं। तुम अपना दाम तो बोलो, तुम अपना दाम तो बोलो, यहाँ अरमान भी दिखते हैं। और कांग्रेस पार्टी ने तो भारत की जनता के अरमान को इस तरह कुचल दिया कि पूछिए मत. For more than 5 decades, Congress party was in power. The basic sanitation rate 39%, the financial inclusion rate 43%, electricity coverage rate 46%, road network 41%. Today, be it electricity coverage, be it sanitation, be it financial inclusion, be it the Ujjwala Gas Yojana, the rate of coverage is close to 96%. You added 93,000 kilometers in 50 years. We added 1.23 lakh kilometers in just 8 years. You added 60 airports in 60 years. We added 60 new airports in 8.5 years. You could not build even 1 crore toilets. We built 11 crore toilets under the Swachh Bharat mission. We opened 48 crore Jan Dhan.
One by one.
Issued 13 crore Ayushman cards. We have given free treatment to more than 5 crore Indians. And let me now tell you one most important thing.
Okay. Make your point quickly.
Meghna said, let us talk about proof. And I think she's right. You know, let me not go by rhetoric that P. Chidambaram as Home Minister was spying on Pranab Mukherjee as the Finance Minister. Let me also not speak about Gyani Zail Singh, who was the President.
Please speak about Gautam Adani, madam. मैडम जरा गौतम अदानी के बारे में कुछ बोलिएगा.
2018 Christopher Wiley, the whistleblower.
मैडम गौतम अदानी के बारे में कुछ बोलिए.
Testified before the
जरा शायराना हो जाए उसी पर.
Parliament that he was asked by the Congress to.
मैडम जी जरा गौतम अदानी के बारे में कुछ बोलिए ना.
Facebook users their data illegally. Christopher Wiley of Cambridge Analytica.
Since we are talking about data and data theft, one of the things which Rahul Gandhi did speak about, and something that Sanju Verma has also spoken about in the past, let me take that across to Lokesh Jindal. Let's talk about facts. Let's talk about what we know instead of going into the realm of rhetoric here. Lokesh Jindal, a direct question. Rahul Gandhi says there was Pegasus on his phone. Why did he not submit his phone when the Supreme Court panel had asked for everyone who had suspected that they have Pegasus to join in the probe? He should have given in the phone. Very direct question I'm asking you. He should have joined in then.
Why he didn't join it, I think Mr. Gandhi knows it better. I would not be the right person to answer it, since it is his discretion.
Okay. In that case, let me change allow me to change my question, since you said that it's his discretion that he would know. The Supreme Court panel had said that there is no tangible proof which shows that there was Pegasus being misused. There was a clean chit given by the Supreme Court. Even then, Mr. Gandhi uses that issue. Said that there was no credible proof, is what the Supreme Court had said. Lokesh Jindal.
First of all, the myth of Pegasus was not invented by the Congress party. It was first the WhatsApp, and later there was an international agency which exposed this Pegasus issue all over India. And when you are talking about even the 29 phones, out of that the sample phones 5 which were tested by the government, it did accept that there were malwares present in those phones. So you cannot rule out, you cannot give a complete chit to the government that the government is completely free, doodh ki dhuli hai, unhone kuch nahi kiya. And secondly, the question was unanswered. Why did Rahul Gandhi say that India is a union of states? Let me make that point clear. Now, always the media is claiming that some fool in the audience, he tried to counter Rahul Gandhi, and so
he was an IAS officer who had gone there to study further. He was barely called a fool, I believe. Then
whistleblower in Cambridge Analytica case, Christopher
certify that a person is not a fool. One, I am telling you, please, madam, do not heckle, please. Act sane.
Let Lokesh Jindal quickly finish his point. Yes. You wanted to explain about the Union of Nations, because that's something that I'd like to understand what he meant when Rahul Gandhi said what he meant, that India is like Europe. Why?
Look, Meghna, what Rahul Gandhi meant was that India, which comprises of such diverse regions, the idea is the outcome of a dialogue between these regions. When all these regions come together in parliament and they find out one idea of unity, that is India as a nation. And secondly, when I'm talking about Article 1, over here we need to understand the history within which this Article 1 was framed. On the eve of the Constituent Assembly, there were princely states that were being brought into the Union, and they were all coming into the union by handing over their sovereignty. So it was
Meghna,
clearly
can I please come in? I'm also in the debate. I don't know why.
that India as a union is not the outcome of these agreements like that of United States of America, but it's a union of states which is
very different, very, very different and intrinsically different. Dr. Ranganathan, Dr. Ambedkar, let me go across to Dr. Ranganathan also. Dr. Ranganathan, even Ambedkar, in the Constituent Assembly debate which happened in 1949, he was questioned about how people were divided into several thousands of castes. Be a nation. In that light, can Rahul Gandhi's concerns be outrightly dismissed? Because these were concerns, as even Lokesh Jindal was pointing out, were something that the constitution makers, the fathers of the constitution, were also debating and actively discussing.
3 quick points, Meghna. First of all, in the last 35 minutes that I've been on this debate, I have spoken for 2.5 minutes and I've been constantly heckled. I don't know whether your faders are working or not, but it is bad for the viewers and listeners if one is constantly interrupted, besides being bad manners. So please, I request people to not interrupt me. I have not heckled anyone. Yes. Number one, as far as Lokesh Jindal is concerned, I think he will be quite fine with the statement that Congress is a union of people who are suspended, who have lost elections and who are going to leave Congress and join the BJP. So Congress is also a union. Number two, as far as Sanjay Jha saying that democracy is being subverted and the Supreme Court has given a tight slap to the Election Commission, can I please ask him, when the UPA was in power, now I can't talk like this. I might as well, I don't know why people are interrupting.
It's just Professor Mondal, he feels that he too has been left out. But I guess it's a balanced debate if every speaker feels that they've been left out. But Professor Mondal, please, we'll come to you. Have the patience and listen in to Mr. Ranganathan. Listen in to Dr. Ranganathan, please. Dr. Ranganathan, please go ahead.
Of course. Let him speak.
Can I?
Yeah, this is his.
Professor Mondal की भी turn आएगी. अभी मैं संजय झा से निपट लूं. So the fact is, will he please explain why during the UPA, person like Mr. Naveen Chawla, who was indicted by the Shah Commission for his excesses during the emergency, was made the Chief Election Commissioner. His name was forwarded to the President, using a procedure that the UPA used for 10 years. And now Sanjay Jha is saying that the same procedure that was being used by the BJP was wrong. Supreme Court in effect has also slapped the UPA. Number two, as far as this Professor Mondal is concerned, will he please explain? He's also a professor. There is a chemistry professor at Jadavpur University. All his crime was 11 years ago to have forwarded an email that had a cartoon of Mamata Banerjee. He was arrested by TMC.
It's you who is controlling the show.
And the court convicted him. Court acquitted him after 11 years. Are you not ashamed talking about subversion of democracy? What kind of a
should be ashamed of yourself first that you don't allow others to speak.
What kind of a lapdog are you? What kind of a lapdog are you? To say that there is democracy in Mamata Raj.
Who the hell you are? You can't even reveal your identity.
Meghna, why aren't you asking him this question?
And the party,
why aren't you asking him this question?
Identity?
Ask him this question.
Speaks like
why did it take 11 years for the court to acquit that Jadavpur University professor?
Again, we've been reduced to this cacophony. Professor Manojit Mandal, direct questions were asked. If you can answer, please do so. What about the professor after 11 years was acquitted? He was locked up because he dared to question the lady who was in power. Dared to mock her. Is that TMC's version of democracy? That was the question.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I will speak only if you allow me to speak the way you are giving your
And hopefully the rest of the panelists are going to allow you to speak the way you haven't allowed others. You haven't shown others the respect to speak. But now I will again ask the other panelists to show the respect you haven't unfortunately shown to the others, Professor Mondal. But go ahead. We will listen to you. You didn't listen to others, but we will listen to you. Go ahead, Professor.
Yes. That chemistry professor is my good colleague. He was in jail for few hours because of a complaint filed by...
Why was he in jail?
His entire career.
What kind of an idiot you are? What kind of
I would
idiot
request
you
you not to use words like that. Professor Mondal, it's unacceptable. It's one thing to heckle and another one to become personal. Professor Mondal, and here's the problem. Professor Mondal, here's the problem. You can't answer the question that Dr. Ranganathan put. You have now come down to abuses. And that perhaps is the problem. And let me go across to Sanjay Jha, because we can't have these kind of words being used on our show. I'm sorry, these kind of words are unacceptable. Sanjay Jha, when the opposition leaders wouldn't know what to say, perhaps they will jail. What I have been accused of is not listening to him, even though he has spoken and interrupted each and every panelist. And now there are personal insults. Can we rise above that, Sanjay Jha? Can we rise above all of that and have a nuanced debate? You had a word to make about Sanju Verma. Go ahead.
Yeah, Meghna, I just want to make one point. The world is today talking about a big, massive stock market manipulation allegation against the Adani Group and accounting frauds. And you have a prime minister of the country whom everybody knows has a close proximity of this industrialist who does not say a word. I mean, that is a manifestation of a
I have about 10 seconds, Sanju Verma. Why no word on Adani? Congress still wants to know.
Well, can I finish one line? Meghna, please tell her not to interrupt. Can I finish one line? The world is saying, आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के चढ़ते हर जबान पर सबको मालूम है और सबको खबर हो गई. And यहाँ पर प्रधानमंत्री.
Yes, Sanju Verma, please answer. I think you made your point. You made your point, Sanjay Jha. You made your point, Sanjay Jha. Sanju Verma. We don't believe in putting down the faders because that's not how democracy works. But at least show others the decency to listen in.
And Rahul after every election says, "ये क्या हुआ?"
Sanju Verma.
अरे कुछ मत पूछो.
Okay, I'll come to you, Dr. Ranganathan. Sanju Verma.
Meghna, you know, I want to repeat what Prime Minister Modi said.
We need to wrap this up. Please listen in.
Sanjay Jha, now please keep quiet. We heard you. Prime Minister Modi on the floor of the Lok Sabha said a few weeks back, तुम्हारे पाँव के नीचे जमीन नहीं है. तुम्हारे पाँव के नीचे जमीन नहीं है, लेकिन कमाल तो ये है. लेकिन कमाल तो ये है कि तुम्हें यकीन नहीं है. कमाल तो ये है तुम्हें यकीन नहीं है. You guys have lost one election after another.
आप जब ऐसे बात करती हैं तो हेटलर नंबर 1 आप
giving a भाषण to Prime Minister Modi.
A quick word from Dr. Ranganathan, because we want to put some of this politics aside. Let's put this politics aside. Ranganathan, is that one of the problems that perhaps one Modi has really rankled the opposition? Ek Modi sab pe bhari, he likes to say that himself. However, that in an order to try and attack him, that today India gets berated at public forums. International.
No, let's be very honest, Meghna. Every party is hypocritical. Every party. BJP, Congress, TMC. That's the honest truth. The fact is Rahul is hypocritical. People in the government are hypocritical. But that's not. How will India progress? I want a simple answer from Mr. Sanjay Jha. He actually was for the farm reforms. He was. Ask him. I respect him for that. He was for the new pension scheme. Now I ask him, how on earth is he supporting Rahul Gandhi, who did a U-turn on farm reforms and who's done a U-turn on the new pension scheme?
I'll give you 10 seconds if you can answer the direct question, Sanjay Jha. We really must wrap this up. 10 seconds you have.
Yeah. Meghna, let me tell Anand Ranganathan, भैया सरकार में तो मोदी जी बैठे हुए हैं. डरपोक के जैसा U-turn तो मोदी जी ने किया.
I have that much time, and unfortunately you could have used this time to perhaps explain and come clean. You haven't. But thank you so much. Unfortunately, this is one of those debates which could have gone on for several more hours and perhaps with very little resolution to it. But at the end of it, India has been berated internationally. What was the reason behind it? Well, that's for everyone to think and decide. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. Let's move on. That's the next big story that we are taking you across to on India Upfront. Well, ahead of the Karnataka Assembly, Bridegate scandal has hit the BJP government in the state. Shameful visuals that you can see on your screens. Karnataka Lokayukta has caught BJP MLA son allegedly accepting a bribe of 40 lakh rupees from a contractor. The MLA's son, Prashant, who is also the chief accountant in the Bengaluru Water Supply and Sewage Board, was allegedly collecting money on behalf of his father for allotment of a tender which was floated by Karnataka Soaps and Detergents Limited. BJP MLA Virupakshapa was also the chairperson of the KSDL, He has now tendered in his resignation from the post after the scandal came to light. In subsequent searches, Lokayukta has found over 8 crore unaccounted cash coming in from Prashant's office and residence of the BJP MLA Virupakshapa. In fact, the MLA and his son are amongst the 6 people named in the case. All accused, barring the MLA, have now been sent to custody.
Police officers worked on it, and then it is not a case of raid actually. It was going to the office where he was demanding the money. And the police officers pursued, and it's a case of trap. The question of timing, the question of role, all this is immaterial for so far as this institution is concerned. All times are good times to fight against corruption. And the present context where you are talking about rampant corruption here, there, everywhere in the government offices, public servants are demanding money. So we are ready to fight it.
In fact, Congress has upped the ante on the Karnataka BJP government, asserting that 40% commission government charge has now been proven. The party also released a new poster in the form of a QR code with BJP MLA Virupakshap's picture on it. You can see that taking a swipe at the BJP. The poster says 40% accepted here. Congress has demanded the resignation of the Chief Minister himself.
He's caught red-handedly when he was receiving bribe from the contractors. That shows that the BJP government has allotted to the MLA ministers and chairmen, board corporation chairmen, to collect money for the election purposes.
जी ना शाह कभी भी साफ सुथरी सरकार की बात नहीं करे. 40% का हमने नहीं बोला है, ये कॉन्ट्रैक्टरों ने, एसोसिएशन ने लिखकर प्राइम मिनिस्टर को दिया. एमएलएस के जो सुपुत्र है वैसे लोग कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं. ये खुला आ रहा है ना. देखो, सच्चाई को मानने का मोदी जी सीखना चाहिए.
आपके खुद के विधायक के ऑफिस से मिले हैं, घर से बरामद हुए हैं. इससे ज्यादा प्रूफ क्या चाहिए? अगर आप में कुछ भी शर्म है तो आप राजीनामा इस्तीफा देंगे और इलेक्शन आज ही के आज कराएंगे.
Meanwhile, the Chief Minister Bomoy has said that his government has formed the Lokayukta to give state a corruption-free government and has asked the opposition leaders to allow an unbiased probe.
ಈ ಶಾಸಕರ ಪುತ್ರ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತರ ಒಂದು ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತರು ಏನು ದಾಳಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾವು ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತ ಪುನರ್ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿರುವುದೇ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರವನ್ನು ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಈ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತ ಸರ್ವ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರವಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ, ನಿಷ್ಪಕ್ಷಪಾತವಾದಂಥ ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗಲಿ.
Well, let me go across to our panelists. Joining us today, Srinath Swethaduri, who is a leader with the BJP, and Rahul Gandhi, who is joining us, an author, as well as Syed Aslam Pasha, a spokesperson with the JDS. Let me first go across to Srinath. It's a crying shame. When we look at these visuals, it's literally a crying shame that our votes, our democracy has been reduced to this joke. Would you agree a government, especially from a party which promised clean governance, na khaunga na khane dunga, is this what we expected? Is this what people voted you all in for?
Yeah, I fully agree with your point, and we are not against na khaunga na khane dunga. The situation has come wherein this thing has got exposed due to Lokayukta, and it is a point the person who has done it should get punished, and law will take its own course. We have no reason to substantiate what has happened, and we accept that this is a very bad thing which has happened, and we are absolutely clear that we don't want to substantiate the happening by giving any other argument on tutu meme. I don't want to do that, because Congress may have too many skeletons in its cupboard, or JDS may have, but that doesn't make me clean. It has happened and we want this to change. That is what we are really looking for.
Syed Aslam Pasha, I'll bring you in because that's a very honest answer we got from the BJP that yes, this has happened. It is a Lokayukta we ourselves helped set up. He's been caught. This man has been asked to step down. It ends here, but it ends with him alone.
Meghna, I mean, it's not an honest answer. He cannot defend the indefensible. That's the point. Well, today, Modi ji, who's making a tall claim of na khaunga, na khane dunga, it happens to be a farce. It's absolutely a farce. This is another clear example. This is another clear example of 40% Sarkar, wherein the MLA, when the MLA's house is raided, you see 8 crores in his house. His own son, MLA Virupakshappa's son, is caught red-handed with 40 lakhs. And it was a deal for 81 lakhs. What else? This Karnataka BJP Sarkar for the last 3.5 years, they've been looting the exchequer's money. They are entangled into corruption cases. The 40% corruption cases, we didn't start this campaign. It was the Contractor Association's president, Mr. Kempanna, who gave this information. There are multiple contractors who are complaining on this. Let me also tell you, Mr. Srinath, your own party member, he has committed suicide. He was a contractor. Mr. Ishwarappa had asked him to do the road contract. When he's claiming the money back, Ishwarappa, he himself was entangled in this corruption case. The contractor committed suicide. Sir, this contractor belonged to your own party. He committed suicide. Just imagine the plight of common people. Just imagine the plight of common contractors who are doing work. Everything, like the contractor, the BBMP contractor president, Mr. Manjunath says, when you get the contract, you have to pay 15%. When you have to clear the bill, you have to pay 15%. Once the bill is cleared, you have to pay another 15%. Is this the way we operate? We can imagine how the people of Karnataka are frustrated.
And there are similar cases against your party too, isn't it?
No, let me just complete. Another 30 seconds. Okay. I am telling you, you can imagine the quality of work which is happening in Karnataka. What can the people of Karnataka expect from such corrupt Sarkar? You're calling this as a double engine Sarkar, but it's the most corrupt Sarkar.
I agree with part of this thing for sure. Let me bring in Anurag Naidu. I'll come to you, Mr. Srinath. Anurag Naidu, here's the problem. I agree with the last part of what he just said. What happens to the people of Karnataka? Because when there was Congress JDS, there was alleged corruption. Now that there is BJP, there is alleged corruption. We are waiting, of course, for all of the probes to conclude. But at the end of it, what about the people? We see their capital sinking every day. There are floods, there are encroachments, there are deaths which are happening due to flyovers tumbling, there are graft cases which are coming to light. Let's not talk about the toxic lakes. This is the state that Karnataka has to face. They don't even have a proper road to drive upon. Today, BJP blames JDS and the Congress. Congress blames JDS and the BJP. But at the end of it, what are the people of Karnataka getting? Their vote has been reduced to those bundles of cash being sold. Anurag Naidu.
Can I?
Well, looks like there's a bit of a problem. Yes, there seems to be a bit of a problem with Anurag Naidu's audio. We'll get that fixed. Okay, yeah. You can take that. Mr. Srinath.
Yeah. See, the point is, Mr. Jafar, Syed Aslam Pasha kept on talking about various things that as if nothing happened during their government or during the Congress government. I don't want to go into it. That's what I said in the beginning. See, neither the Lokayukta was empowered to do anything during their period. The whole thing was brought under ACB, which was controlled by the Chief Minister of the state. So neither JDS had to pass through that problem, nor the Congress, because they saw to it that all the cases were bundled out.
I agree with you, Srinath Swethadari. However, let me also remind 95 cases of the Enforcement Directorate are against opposition leaders. You have Enforcement Directorate's conviction rate at 0.5%. Is this then selectivity? Why is there not a central agency probing into these bundles of cash that we see on our screens? Will the central agency step in? Will the state ask the centre to order and investigate a free and fair probe?
Yeah, I mean that decision will be taken. It has happened today. As the time progresses, action will be taken on Madal Virupakshappa. He has already resigned from the chairmanship.
I'm asking about a central probe because there could be a larger conspiracy.
Some time, maybe by tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you will see whatever action the party has to take will take. Party also will take action on this. It is not. We are not going to leave it free.
Meghna, can I just come in?
We will do that.
Will there be a CB
we will not wait for 8 months for a ministry to resign from the jail.
Will the Enforcement Directorate probe into the money trail? Srinath Swethadari, will the Enforcement Directorate look into the money trail?
As it is, I think there is a limit. Once the money level is more than 2 crores or 3 crores, there is a limit that will automatically come in. Whatever the law has to take, this one they will do that. We are not going to hold back. We are not going to substantiate this that we can say that it is a small.
Okay, that's interesting. Anurag Naidu, I'm going to bring you in. It's very interesting you are saying that these wads of cash which are coming out, but on the other hand, people like Aam Aadmi Party, people like Arvind Kejriwal are saying, Sisodia ke ghar se to kuch bhi nahi nikla. Even then, he's been today locked up, put behind bars. Anurag Naidu?
Exactly. Meghna,
the policy, madam. The policy, excise policy, he has signed with from 2 to 12%. So automatically it should happen, right?
There is no probe also which has begun. First, there is a probe which would begin, and then one after the other, the central agencies would have come in.
Even our people will.
Anurag Naidu. Okay. Mr. Srinath, let Anurag Naidu speak. Please go ahead.
In case it is necessary.
Meghna, Delhi is a different story. But when you talk about Delhi, mark my word, it is going to just go on increasing the trouble because the liquor scam itself is so huge. Wherever Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is involved, directly or indirectly, Mr. Sisodia is also involved. That is what the probe and the people are telling. Let's wait for the time. It will be much more than 8 crore or 2 crores of cash that we're talking about. Now coming to Karnataka, let's bring the focus back to Karnataka. Isn't it unprecedented, Meghna, that the chief minister who is from his own party is telling that, action will be taken, strictest action will be taken. Chief minister himself is telling within no time that, he is distancing himself. He is directly saying Lokayukta should be independently functioning. And who has given so much of power to Lokayukta? It is none other than this BJP government. I have nothing to do with BJP. But what I can tell you for the fact is, in no time that the chief minister and all the BJP state leadership has come out in open, distanced this gentleman or the MLA, and they've been very categorical in saying that whatever needs to be done. Now, everything doesn't end up into the doorstep of ED and CBI just for the case of, having a national media's attention onto the topic. Because there is the competent state authorities, state police, Lokayukta, and let them do and complete their investigation. When their investigation is complete, you still have any questions, by all means,
Mr. Pasha, let me bring that in. Let me bring in Mr. Pasha. This is not as per the policy a fit state for a central agency. So don't cry witch hunt in this.
No, I'll tell you what, okay? The BJP cannot behave holier than thou. You know that whichever opposition leader who's vocal and criticizing about the central government, you will have ED raids, you have Enforcement Directorate going there, you have income tax going there. We've seen that with multiple opposition leaders.
Right.
But whichever opposition leader who joins BJP, the most corrupt leaders who join BJP, their corruption cases get washed away. I can give you a list of names, whether it is Hemanta Biswa, whether it is
that has happened in the past.
Whether it is Mukul Roy.
This guy is a BJP MLA. The guy we're talking about is a BJP MLA. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? He has made a self-goal. Syed Aslam Pasha has made a self-goal.
So I believe perhaps Mr. Pasha is going to appreciate the fact that now this BJP MLA's son is being raided by the Lokayukta. At least perhaps we can all agree that today the Lokayukta has done a great job by bringing those who are allegedly corrupt to book. Hopefully this work continues, but what's going to be the impact of this on the prospects for the BJP down south, especially in a critical state like Karnataka? Well, we'll have to wait and see. These wads of cash, that's something which continues to be very disturbing for our democracy. Thank you so much, however, gentlemen, for joining us on the show. With that, a short break. We wrap up the show. Thank you for watching.
आ चुका है पोको X5 Pro का बॉक्स टेबल पे। अब इसको जल्दी से करेंगे अनबॉक्स। ब्लैक और येलो कलर का ये बॉक्स है, जो ज्यादातर पोको के स्मार्टफोन पे आपको येलो कलर, जो इसका सिग्नेचर कलर है, वो दिखाई देगा। Sometimes it is really tricky to take the tapes off, so let me try it with my nails. One tape down successfully. गाइज, ये जो फीलिंग है ना अनबॉक्स करने वाली, ये काफी ही मजेदार लगती है। जब भी आप कोई नया गैजेट अनबॉक्स करते हैं तो मजा तो आता है। जैसे कि यहाँ देखेंगे, बॉक्स के पीछे की तरफ बहुत सारे डिटेल्स लिखे हैं, बॉक्स के बारे में फीचर्स लिखे हैं, वो दिखाएंगे और उसके बारे में बात करेंगे जब फोन हाथ में आ जाएगा। इनसाइड द बॉक्स यू गेट दिस लिटिल पेपर बॉक्स एज वेल, जिसमें ज्यादातर पेपर वर्क और प्रोटेक्टिव केस ही होता है। लाइक आई सेड, वही मिला है हमको। यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा मैनुअल टाइप है। यहाँ पर फोन को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए आपको मिलता है ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोटेक्टिव केस, और साथ में सिम इजेक्टर टूल, विच इज वेरी बेसिक। अब मुझे बॉक्स के अंदर दिखाई दे रहा है हमारा डिवाइस, जिसके बारे में ये वीडियो बना रहे हैं। उफ, वेरी वाइब्रेंट एंड पेपी येलो कलर। Just like the box, the smartphone also boasts the combination of black, or call it dark gray, along with yellow. और कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग डिजाइन आपको फ्रेम्स पर भी दिखेगा। जो कलर आपको यहाँ कैमरा मॉड्यूल पर दिख रहा है, पीछे ये जो पैच पर दिख रहा है, वही आपको उसी कलर का फ्रेम दिखाई देगा विद येलो एक्सेंट्स। वेट की बात करें तो अच्छा है, लाइट वेट है। और यहाँ पे जो येलो है, दिस इज लिटिल बिट डल, नॉट एज वाइब्रेंट एज द बॉक्स और प्रॉपर येलो। वैसे तो मैट फिनिशिंग है, लेकिन ये जो कलर है, इसके अंदर हल्का सा ग्लिटर आपको दिखाई देता है। फ्लैशी नहीं है, अच्छा है। इसको साइड में रखते हैं, अभी ऑन भी करेंगे और उसके बाद स्मार्टफोन के बारे में बात करेंगे। पहले देखते हैं और क्या आपको बॉक्स के अंदर दिखाई देगा। यू ऑल्सो गेट अ 67 वॉट चार्जिंग ब्रिक। I really liked how they have written 67 watt here. बहुत ही बढ़िया फॉन्ट लग रहा है, कुछ डिफरेंट देखने को मिला, वरना ज्यादातर यहाँ पर नॉर्मली।
Back here on India Upfront, here are the top focus stories.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi criticizes India at Cambridge University in London, says democracy is at risk owing to blatant censorship. Gandhi's son also made a bizarre remark on Kashmir, claims he was warned about possible terror attack, but terrorists didn't harm him. Rahul also refrained from terming Pulwama attack as a terror attack sponsored by Pak. Instead, says Kashmir is so-called violent place in India.
mm एक्स्ट्रा, लंबा व्हील बेस, सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा जगह। यह है कहानी BMW 3GL की। नमस्ते टाइम्स ड्राइव फैमिली, आई एम क्रांति संभव। वेलकम टू द फर्स्ट ड्राइव रिव्यू ऑफ BMW 3 सीरीज GL, यानी ग्रैंड लिमोजीन, जो ऑब्वियसली रेगुलर 3 सीरीज से ज्यादा लंबी है व्हील बेस के हिसाब से। कुछ एक चेंजेस इसमें हुए हैं, तो इस वजह से ये हम वीडियो कर रहे हैं उन चेंजेस के बारे में बताने के लिए, और ये भी जानने के लिए कि जो दावा है कंपनी का सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा आराम का, ज्यादा स्पेस का, वो दावा पूरा हो पा रहा है या नहीं। सो बिफोर आई स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस कार, सबसे पहले टाइम्स ड्राइव के बारे में आपसे बात करता हूं या अपील करता हूं। अभी तक अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे चैनल को, और सोशल मीडिया पर बाकी जो भी हैंडल्स हैं वहां पर टाइम्स ड्राइव के नाम से आप सर्च करें, उसे भी फॉलो करें। लेटेस्ट खबरें आपको मिलेंगी, और timesdrive.in है हमारा वेबसाइट, वहां पर तो लेटेस्ट खबरों के अलावा डिस्काउंट्स और जो स्पाई पिक्स हैं, आने वाली गाड़ियां हैं, उन सब के बारे में खबरें मिलेंगी। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस स्टोरी। हम बात करते हैं BMW 3GL की। क्रांति संभव रिपोर्टिंग फ्रॉम द सेकंड रो ऑफ BMW 3GL। आमतौर पर ये वाला हिस्सा स्टोरी में बाद में आता है, लेकिन जब यूएसपी यही है तो फिर व्हाई नॉट स्टार्ट द स्टोरी विद दिस। और यहाँ पे सबसे पहली चीज जो मैं
Krishna. Ladies and gentlemen, last year Rahul Gandhi during his trip to Cambridge branded India as not a good place. The reason was that BJP has sprinkled kerosene all over the nation and hence polarized the atmosphere in India. Cut to 2023. The year has changed, but the script and location remains the same. Today, the world is looking to Viksit Bharat. World leaders lining up to be on India's side make it clear that courting Bharat is now an essential part of the diplomatic plans of leading world powers. But Rahul Gandhi shockingly compared India's union of states with that of the countries of Europe, forgetting or ignoring the fact that a conglomeration like the EU comprises independent countries and not states within a nation like India. According to Rahul, the democracy of India, which is seen as a template for other countries, is in danger. Listen in to Rahul Gandhi.
We're facing an attack on the basic structure of Indian democracy. In the Constitution, India is described as a union of states, and that union requires a negotiation, requires a conversation. So it's slightly different than other countries. You can think about it much more at the scale of Europe, right? Multiple different states, much bigger than Europe, requiring a conversation and a negotiation to actually move forward. And it's that negotiation that is actually coming under attack and under threat. So preserving and defending Indian democracy is more than just about India. It's actually about defending the democratic structure and the democratic system on the planet. So that's what I described. Capture and control of media and the judiciary, surveillance and intimidation. I myself had Pegasus on my phone. Large number of politicians have Pegasus on my phone, on their phone. I've been called by intelligence officers who tell me, listen, please be careful what you're saying on the phone, because we are sort of recording this stuff. So this is a constant pressure that we feel. And you've also heard of the attack on minorities, the attack on the press. So you get a sense of what is going on.
But his critics are fuming because he failed to call a spade or what they term whitewashing terrorists. Rahul said that the car bomb killed Pulwama braves. Critics ask what made him omit the word terror. Listen to what Rahul said.
In fact, that picture there is me putting flowers on the spot where almost 40 soldiers were killed by a car bomb some years back. So we arrive in Kashmir, and Kashmir is this so-called violent place.
But BJP sees a deliberate malign India pattern. It asks what's the compulsion behind berating Bharat from a foreign platform. Listen in.
को बदनाम करने की आदत बन गई, देश को बदनाम करने की ये साजिश बार बार जो विदेशी धरती से होती है, कभी विदेशी दोस्तों के माध्यम से होती है, ये अपने आप में प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा करता है कि कांग्रेस का एजेंडा क्या है। क्या संवैधानिक संस्थाओं में भी कांग्रेस का विश्वास खत्म हो गया है? क्या भारत के लोकतंत्र भी बार बार प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा करने का काम ये कांग्रेस करती रहेगी?
कैम्ब्रिज गए हुए राहुल गांधी, उन्होंने कहा पेगासस को लेके आए और कहा कि उनके कुछ ऑफिसर्स ने उनको जिक्र किया कि उनके फ़ोन में पेगासस है। क्या वाकई पेगासस नाम की जो एलिगेशंस आप पे लगता रहा, चूंकि आप बीइंग मिनिस्टर्स हैं, उन पे क्या कहेंगे आप?
वो रिकॉर्ड होता है ना, सुई वहां पे अटक गई उनकी।
बातचीत की प्राइवेसी मेंटेन रहती है क्या?
100%.
I think it's a very sad day when you have somebody like Rahul Gandhi who does not understand the implication of his words. It's not just a deliberate attempt to undermine India, it's a deliberate attempt to undermine India's institutions.
That brings me to the legitimate question that we're asking this evening. Is Modi hate fueling India bashing?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest. Joining us with us is RP Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, Tushar Gupta, senior editor of Swarajya, Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, is with us. With us also is Vivek Sehla, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, and also joining us on the broadcast is spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, Professor Manojit Mandal. Let me start with Tehseen Poonawalla. Tehseen, fundamentally and basically what is at the crux of the entire argument is the point made of India being a union of states. Now, while Rahul Gandhi may have been correct, he may be quoting from the Constitution, but the fact is that EU is a union of nations. And therefore, is the BJP wrong to say that this is a poor comparison?
First of all, yes. Madhav, thank you so much for having me on this show. This is part 1 of the Indian Constitution. I'm sure a lot of people from the BJP would not have seen it because the RSS had no hand in drafting the Constitution. They, in fact, called it imported. But yes, it does on the first page say India is a union of states. So when you compare India, a union of states, which remember Churchill said would not last, to the European Union, which is different states or countries come together to form a union, like India is a union. You're talking about 2 unions that have come together in different contexts. So Rahul Gandhi out here was talking about unions and in different contexts about democracy and authoritarianism in China. The second very interesting comment I've heard from my friends in the Bharatiya Janata Party. They said, look, Mr. Gandhi has gone abroad and he's run down India. If I were to take their criticism literally, Prime Minister, for whom I have a lot of respect, said that prior to him becoming Prime Minister, Indians were not proud of being called Indians. Now, I know Vivek here, I know Tushar here, I know you, Madhav, I know me. We were all proud to be Indians. Mr. Modi, we may or may not like him, agree or disagree with him. Mr. Modi has not made us proud to be Indians, or we were not proud because Mr. Modi was not Prime Minister. He's also said, and I quote him, "मैं पिछले 60 साल का कूड़ा साफ कर रहा था." I mean, what is Mr. Modi saying, that there was only garbage in this country? So these are words of the most honorable Prime Minister abroad, that he's just sitting as Prime Minister. I just want to clarify one thing to your viewers. Okay. I may or may not agree with my Prime Minister, but it is my fundamental right and my duty to criticize him because I want my country to progress. And unless I don't show
be that as it may, I want to bring you back to the point that we started on. And the point that we started on is this, and why this is a poor comparison is being stated is, and I'm going to quote here Ambedkar, because he specifically says that India is a federation. The federation was not a result of an agreement by the states to join in a federation. The federation is not a result of an agreement. No state has the right to secede. The federation is a union because it's indestructible. The problem is, once you start this debate and comparisons to EU, who's to say that what happened in Brexit, tomorrow you'll say that the dialogue that's necessary between the countries, and one country can vote to exit. The problem, Tehseen, is that is why it is an extremely poor example. Let's at least admit that.
Fantastic question. Thank you. Allow me to respond to that. I couldn't hear who said that because there's some disturbance who made that comparison. But most states signed an instrument of accession. So yes, there's an agreement signed with the Union of India. There is an agreement signed. Yes, nobody has the right to leave India. Nobody will ever leave India. But not all states joined India on 15th August 1947. We now know Hyderabad joined later because of the actions of Nehruji and Vallabhbhai Patel. We know Goa joined later. We know Sikkim joined later. We know Nagaland joined later. They joined on the promises of Gandhi and Nehru. There were certain promises. So not all states came into the instrument of accession on 15th August.
Fair point. I'm on the simple point of exiting the union, sir. I'm on the simple point of exiting the union, and I want to bring in others on this. Tushar, how do you respond to Tehseen, because he says that everybody may not have joined on the same time, but does that mean that the union then becomes indestructible? Yes, I'm coming to RP Singh in just a moment. I want Tushar to respond. I'm coming. 1 second. Tehseen, that is why I'm saying, in the case of EU, it's in front of us that UK has exited. That is the whole point I'm making over here. Isn't that making it a very poor example? What are we trying to tell others? And that too sitting in the United Kingdom. Tushar Gupta, 1 second. Let's listen to the response as well. Tushar.
Madhav, I really feel bad from the bottom of my heart for the likes of Tehseen because they're so passionate about this country, but the leader they choose to represent it. I mean, I have run out of words, I have run out of neurons in my head to explain the political futility and the intellectual shallowness of Rahul Gandhi. If I were to use Rahul Gandhi's logic, Madhav, he believes that tomorrow if a group of people stand up in Punjab and say that we want a separate state, and if Rahul Gandhi is a prime minister, by his logic, which he gave in Cambridge, he would be open to negotiation. Because he says that India is a union of states and the states require negotiation with the center. Now, what kind of a negotiation is he talking about? He's not talking about a power sharing agreement because that's already specified in the constitution. So what kind of a negotiation is he talking about? He says one size fit all policy doesn't work when it's about the union of states. So he doesn't believe in the constitution that has subjects in the center list, in the state list and in the concurrent list.
Okay.
My problem is not that Rahul Gandhi disagrees or dislikes the Prime Minister. My problem is that he attacks the very idea of India that his party, his ancestors, people like Tehseen, people like you, people like me defend every day. He attacks that very identity of India.
Okay.
That is where my problem with Rahul Gandhi is.
Well, having a dialogue is fine. In a democracy, one can always have a dialogue. States may have their priorities. But Professor Monijit Mandal, to sum up what Tushar said, that if the constitutional framework is clear, there is a union list, there is a state list, there is a concurrent list. The constitutional framework is quite clear. I mean, nobody is against having a dialogue. But this example of EU is a very poor one, isn't it?
You see, we would not like to comment on Mr. Gandhi's speech in Cambridge.
That's what the debate is about,
As
sir.
we understand, this country
You have come for a debate on this and you say you don't want to comment on it.
But I have my own, oh God, who is laughing? Who is this person laughing? This is Madhav, I will have my own style of speaking. You will understand what I am trying to speak.
Yeah, but then, sir, we are having a debate on this issue. Let's be serious on the issue at hand. Yeah.
Mr. Gandhi, yes. I'll be serious. Let me speak. Mr. Gandhi or Mr. Modi, I do not think they are India. They represent two different political parties. There are other stakeholders, other political parties, and most of these political parties are actually running the state. And there lies the issue of federalism. You talk about union of states, is directly linked to the issue of federalism, where we believe, not like Mr. Gandhi, we believe dialogues, negotiations are not happening. The states ruled by non-BJP parties, maybe including Congress, especially we understand from our perspective in Bengal, the states ruled by non-BJP parties are not being recognized by the center even while it's come to giving their due diligences or due promises. Like we have been demanding from our side in Bengal, the GSTs, the taxes, even the shares about all the welfare schemes like Manrega. The central government is completely unwilling, reluctant to give us.
Well, central government had a very different perspective on that. Nirmala Sitharaman actually responded to that during the budget discussion, sir. She actually said that the state government has not applied in the proper format, if I'm not mistaken.
And day after she released 6,000 crores.
Okay.
You must have noticed that.
Okay.
After that particular speech in the parliament, she had to release 6,000 crores. Due is 95,000 crores.
Let RP Singh come in.
Not more.
Okay, let RP Singh come in. You've made a very serious charge. You've made a serious charge. Professor Mondal, you've made an important point. Let's get in the BJP on that. Let RP Singh come in. RP Singh, the dialogue. One second, gentlemen, let's not speak over each other. We have limited time. I want to ask RP Singh a simple question. RP Singh, TMC says that whatever Mr. Rahul Gandhi may have been trying to say, the sum and substance of that is that the dialogues that are supposed to happen, the so-called cooperative federalism, is not happening on ground. That is the issue. Those dialogues between state center are really not happening. That's the issue he was trying to highlight. Your response to Professor Mandal?
Very brief answer to that, because that was not a question. That's not the debate for. The brief answer is that every month they meet for the GST as a subject, and they can discuss whatever, and they discuss it there also. But coming to the subject which we're talking about, the problem with Mr. Rahul Gandhi is he thinks this is a country union of various states, whereas we think this is a nation. And so did Ambedkar Sahab. You quoted half of the Ambedkar Sahab's quote. The country is one integrated whole. Its people, a single people living under a single implement derived from a single source. Not only that, I mean, let me quote Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I'm sorry, I'm quoting from Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, which says, Khursana khasmana kae Hindustan daraya. Having acquired Khursan means the kingdom of Babur. Babur terrified India. This is Ang 360, which you quote as page, we say Ang 360 of Shri Guru Granth Sahib. In what century? 14th century. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji is talking about Hindustan as a nation. And then let me also tell, in 17th century, the king, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, gives 400 kg of gold for Kashi Vishwanath's dome. This was one nation. The priests from Karnataka come to Kedarnath, and they are the priests for Kedarnath. So this is one nation, and this is state as one. I'm not going to Vedas, I'm not going to Puranas. But I'm just quoting the recent history, 550 years of history. And that too, which is inscribed in Shri Guru Granth Sahib. The problem is, Mr. Rahul Gandhi still has to learn what India is, what Bharat is, what Hindustan is. For him, it is still India which was there, which came in being after 1947. I'll appreciate. He should read bit of Nehru ji also. Probably that will enlighten him about what India is. Because he also believed that this is a nation which has one soul.
Okay. Vivek Salas, I think that's a very important point being made there by Mr. R.P. Singh. If we are a nation, I'm seeing many hands going up. Gentlemen, just a moment. I'm going to come to you. Vivek Salas has not gotten a chance to speak. Vivek Salas, ultimately, if we are one nation, at a time when India is being recognized on the international platform, we're seeing what's happening with the G20. Several top global leaders, I don't want to stand and read out a whole list of them, have spoken about the pivotal role that India plays. At a time when Rahul Gandhi may want to take on the central government, and he's perfectly entitled to do that, BJP says that it is now coming down to India bashing in terms of what he is actually doing at foreign soil in that Cambridge University. Your response to that, Vivek Salas?
Yes. Madhav, I could hear your voice very, it was cracking a lot, but what I could understand, I'll just comment on that. Firstly, I would like to say that I don't appreciate what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said. He should have been more specific on certain issues. He should have been more specific. That is what I feel. But only one thing that what he said was that the democracy is under threat. I am sure all of us are born before 2040. What our Honorable Prime Minister said, that people born before 2014 are ashamed that they are Indians. Exact word what he say, पता नहीं हमने क्या पाप किया था जो 2014 से पहले हम हिंदुस्तान में पैदा हो गए. That is what our Honorable Prime Minister said. Be it Shanghai, be it Toronto, be it UAE, Oman or Seoul, the Honorable Prime Minister has miserably, defamed India in foreign soil. And today if we feel and think very carefully that the Honorable Supreme Court has raised two very important questions over the central government. First, they came very heavily on the Bharatiya Janata Party on the matter of the election commission, that how Arun Goel, the election commissioner, was appointed within 24 hours after he took the VRS. Definitely they must have seen the present government is using the agency. Secondly, Maharashtra, the Honorable Supreme Court said, in Maharashtra the Honorable Supreme Court said on Tuesday, and they raised questions and suspicion over the formation of the Maharashtra government. That is what the Honorable Supreme Court said. It is not the Samajwadi Party or the opposition is saying that.
How are you linking it to today's debate?
It is the Honorable Supreme Court.
How is that linked to what Rahul has said?
Today 95% of the ED.
How is that linked to what Rahul has said, sir? Please come to the point quickly.
Ask him. Rahul Gandhi said.
How is that linked to what Rahul has said? Vivek Salas, please.
Rahul Gandhi said judiciary is under threat.
She was singing and asking questions to the Uttar Pradesh government. Journalists like Pawan Jaiswal, a lady from Varanasi who raised question on Prime Minister Modi's constituency, was put in jail.
Vivek Sailas, once again, Vivek Sailas, please.
Let me tell you about
Vivek Sailas.
Pulwama was a definite failure. Pulwama was a definite failure of the central government.
Not of Pakistan. Okay.
How
it was a
did
failure of central government, not of Pakistan. Alright, you've asked a number of questions of the centre. You've asked a number of questions of the central government ruled by BJP. I want RP Singh to respond. One second. Vivek Sailas. Vivek Sailas, you have had your say. Now listening to the response from RP Singh. RP Singh, number of questions for the centre, which he says is the sum and substance of what RG was trying to elucidate. Please respond.
Well, Rahul Gandhi said media is not free. You have people on your channel, you get people on your channel from various parties who speak whatever they want to speak. And then there is no hold on them. I mean, they can speak whatever they want to speak. Then he said judiciary is not free. I mean, and the gentleman from Samajwadi Party is quoting the Supreme Court judgments. And then he said, oh, the parliament is not free. I mean you create ruckus in parliament. And he was misquoting that we were arrested from the parliament. We were arrested from inside the parliament. We were sent behind the jail. I mean, he is actually trying to defame the complete system here. He is trying to defame the institutions of the country. That's the problem. And when he speaks high of China and belittle the Indian system, that shows that वो जो कर्जा है वो किस्तों में उतारा जा रहा है, ब्याज समेत उतारा जा रहा है. That loan or that money which has been taken from the China is being repaid back in installments and with interest.
Okay, Tehseen, come to the point, because here this is a very interesting aspect. Repeatedly Mr. Rahul Gandhi and some of the opposition leaders say that institutions are compromised, that there is no freedom. Here you have a case where Mr. Sailas himself has quoted instances where the Supreme Court has given judgments against the central government. So how is it that then, when there are these judgments that come, the court is welcome for its freedom, for its independence, but there is this selective interpretation that seems to be happening, is what Mr. RP Singh is saying. Please respond, Tehseen.
Grateful for that. I just wish, when this is such an important show and the world is watching this show, because Times Now is broadcasted across the world, at least those who are on the debate would have seen Mr. Gandhi's speech and come. Mr. Gandhi never said he was arrested from inside Parliament. He in fact showed an image where he was outside Parliament, and Madhav, you have that. At least watch the speech. And when
is that image outside Parliament or from Hathras, sir? Because some are saying that the image shown was from Hathras, not from Parliament.
But he's saying that they were standing outside Parliament. What he was making a point about is outside Parliament.
That's the point I'm making. He says he was outside Parliament, but the image is not from there, is what some on social media are commenting. You would know better. You would know better. Please tell us. Please enlighten us.
The image was from outside Parliament. He was talking about outside Parliament, not inside Parliament. What was said on your show was Rahul Gandhi said to quote the person from the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this is taking away my time on something that's not needed. And then I won't have my time to make other points.
You're fact checking someone. I'm fact checking you, sir. All's fair. No, it works both ways.
No, it's
but
not.
Make your point nevertheless.
Thank you. Mr. Gandhi said outside Parliament, not inside Parliament. He said institutions are under pressure. He never praised the Chinese model. His entire speech is about two models, a liberal democratic American model, a Chinese model. What works for both? He was talking about two models, and in Indian context with Bharat Jodo. He never praised the Chinese model. But let's come to the pertinent point that I want to make, which is more important. Somebody says the judiciary is free. I absolutely believe the judiciary is free. It gives absolute judgments against the government, it gives judgments for the government. Yet it is the law minister who on Times Now said, the law minister, that the collegium system must change and has been criticizing the judiciary. The Vice President of India and the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha said the Keshav Nanda Bharti
Congress leaders have said the same, sir. Congress leaders have said the same, that the system has to change. It is not something that is new. But all right, you made a...
Sir, fine, you please allow me to make my point after.
Yes, but the point you're making...
But my flow breaks. No, it just breaks my flow.
We have limited time. Tehseen, we have limited time. Yes, Tehseen, there's limited time. You have made a... Okay, let's get a response to the points you've made. There are those, Tushar, there are those in the central government who, while the government, say that the courts are free, are the same are putting pressure upon the Supreme Court. That's the sum and substance of the question by Tehseen.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm actually not here saying that.
Then what are you saying?
They're contradicting themselves, Madhav, but I want to remind the TMC spokesperson.
I would have made my point.
Madhav, just a second. I want to remind the TMC spokesperson who said that there are no negotiations between the centre and the states, that it was in the early weeks of COVID when Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee skipped a meeting of all the CMs with the Prime Minister. In January 2022, it was the district magistrates from Bengal that skipped the meeting with all the Prime Minister. It was Bengal that has been renaming all the center government schemes and claiming them as their own. So
Okay.
when he says
Quick
that
response. Quick response. Manojit Mandal, we are almost out of time. Quick response from Professor Mandal. Professor Mandal, quick response, please.
Mother, very small point.
Yes, I'm coming to you. Let Professor Mandal respond.
See this video. Yeah. This is coming directly from Tripura. This is democracy BJP style. Post-poll violence. Opposition houses are getting burned. They are being tortured. Sadly, no story is carried in any media houses.
Okay.
This is Tripura.
Okay. So there are similar stories that came out of West Bengal. I'm sorry, Mr. Singh, we are completely out of time. We don't have time for a response on that particular aspect, but that's a story that we'll follow up over here and certainly get down to the truth as far as that aspect is concerned. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. Now, ahead of Karnataka Assembly elections, Bribegate scandal hits the BJP government in the state. The Karnataka Lokayukta has caught BJP MLA Madal Virupakshappa's son allegedly accepting a bribe of 40 lakh rupees from a contractor. The MLA's son Prashant, who's also the chief accountant in the Bangalore Water Supply and Sewerage Board of BWSSB, was allegedly collecting money on behalf of his father for allotment of tender for providing raw material to the Karnataka Soaps and Detergents Limited. Remember that the BJP MLA Virupakshappa is also the chairman of the same organization, the KSDL. However, he tendered his resignation from the post after the bribe gate came to light. Now, in the subsequent searches, Lokayukta has found over 8 crore rupees of unaccounted cash from Prashant's office and residence of BJP MLA Virupakshappa. The MLA and his son are amongst the 6 accused named in the case. All accused, barring the MLA, have been sent to 14 days of judicial custody. But sources say that even the BJP MLA is likely to be called for questioning in the case soon. Times now learns that the MLA has left his constituency in Chanagiri and is already in fact in Bengaluru at the moment. Congress has upped the ante on the Karnataka BJP government, asserting that 40% commission government charge has now been proven. They also have demanded the resignation of Chief Minister Bommai.
ना मोदी जी ना शाह कभी भी साफ सुथरी सरकार की बात नहीं करे। 40% का हमने नहीं बोला है, ये कॉन्ट्रैक्टरों ने, एसोसिएशन ने लिखकर प्राइम मिनिस्टर को दिया और ओपन उन्होंने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस भी की। ये एमएलएस के जो सुपुत्र हैं वैसे लोग कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, ये खुला आ रहा है ना। देखो, सच्चाई को मानने का मोदी जी सीखना चाहिए।
Meanwhile, Chief Minister Bommai said that his government formed the Lokayukta, or rather empowered the Lokayukta to give the state a corruption-free government, and asked opposition leaders to allow an unbiased investigation to take place.
ಈ ಶಾಸಕರ ಪುತ್ರ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತರ ಒಂದು ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತರು ಏನು ದಾಳಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾವು ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತ ಪುನರ್ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿರುವುದೇ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರವನ್ನು ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಈ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಲೋಕಾಯುಕ್ತ ಸರ್ವಸ್ವತಂತ್ರವಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ, ನಿಷ್ಪಕ್ಷಪಾತವಾದಂಥ ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗಲಿ.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And for more on the story, we're joined live by Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, is the chief of the KPCC. In fact, the president, Mr. Shivkumar, thank you so much for speaking to Times Now. How do you see the actions of the Lokayukta against the BJP MLA son who's allegedly been caught taking bribes?
Okay, I would like to contract the Lokayukta. From the past 2-3 years, what we are telling has come true. We know that we had all evidences, we had spoken. The contractor association themselves had given a letter to the Prime Minister, but no action has been taken. What we were speaking, the Honorable Chief Minister wanted an evidence. Now the evidence is from the government agency itself. We believe in this transparency. We believe that we were telling that Karnataka has become the corruption capital of this country, and this is proven now. What we are telling has been proven. But one thing I would like to assure the people of this country, that Congress party will give a transparent government, a corruption-free government. We have a plan for it. We have a plan to give to the state and the country that yes, Congress can deliver a corruption-free government in Karnataka. In the
but your party may be saying that this is vindication of the 40% Sarkara jibe that you've been leveling at the BJP government. But Mr. Shivkumar, the BJP is saying that it is because they have empowered the Lok Ayukta that they are able to now crack down on corruption. In fact, the Chief Minister has claimed credit.
See, what can they tell? They doesn't have any face for this. He is not an MLA, he is a chairman of a body, political body, 8 crores with one single MLA, with single MLA and in his office, including his officials, including the bureaucrats, have been involved in it. Chief Minister was telling for an evidence to be given. What more evidence you want? First, the Chief Minister has to submit his resignation first. The government himself has to submit his resignation. There is no other choice for the Chief Minister. I think Modi ji, he was telling that he will not eat or not allow one to eat. What Mr. Modi ji want? Every day the Honorable Home Minister and the Prime Minister of this country, once in 2 weeks or twice a week, they are in Karnataka. They are posing that they were already the Home Minister has accepted that he is going to give a corruption-free government. Yes, this is already has accepted there is a corruption. What more you want?
But in August last year, Mr. Shivkumar, the High Court had slammed both the previous governments and the current government for using the ACB to undermine Lokayukta. Does this demolish the BJP government's attempt to claim credit for this arrest?
No, there is no BJP can't claim. See, already ACB is in different parts of the country. Various states where BJP is ruling, ACB is also there. Though this NDA government came to existence, they could not bring the law, whatever they said, whatever they were telling on the Lokpal, whatever they were telling on the corruption issue, they could not come out with a clear stand. But Karnataka, since very long time, we had this Lokayukta. Again, we had an opportunity for this ACB also. Yes, we agree whatever the judgment have come from the court. But still, this is a blatant proof of this most corrupt government of this country.
Mr. Shivkumar, do you believe that this will hurt the BJP electorally in the state?
See, this is not the end. This is already has started last 3 years from the day this government was being born on corruption itself. They gave MLA bribe. The minister, one Mr. Ashwath Narayan and one MLA was being named in the assembly itself on the no confidence motion. They had given offered them 30 crore of rupees, 30 for MLA, and all MLAs was being given money to shift their loyalty to the BJP. This is the government itself is born on corruption, on Operation Lotus. It is day one. We have seen all the elections, what has been going on.
The reason I'm asking you this.
Telling you there is no other option.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking you is that because the BJP has been able to do well recently in elections in the Northeast, the Congress has suffered. So why do you believe that the Karnataka story will be different?
See, Karnataka will be the gateway to end this menace. The people of Karnataka are very vibrant. They are very knowledgeable. They know. They are wise enough. At this point of time, they will throw down this government because India is being seen through Karnataka on various issues. They are very highly educated people. At the time of election, they will give a result. That is why the Prime Minister did not come here, or the Home Minister or other leaders did not come at the time of COVID or on the drought or on various when the big rains were coming and lot of damages been done. But now due to elections, they are coming every week. Let them come. It is their job for the party. But they never looked at Karnataka when Karnataka was in crisis. Now because they want power, they are here. It will not happen. The people are very wise, knowledgeable. They will give a proper mandate for a change in Karnataka.
Now, why this is important is that we're also talking at a time when you've been under the radar of agencies. Do you believe that the office of the Lokayukta is more independent than the ED or the CBI?
See, for the first time, I'm very happy that Lokayukta, I would like to congratulate him. The Lokayukta, before a lot of pressures came in, the Lokayukta has come on record. Mr. Patil, on behalf of the country and the Karnataka, I would like to salute him for his great effort, behavior. He could not compromise with various, though he was been nominated very long back, a year back, whatever may be this one, but this is a very good example for all politicians or anyone in the entire country.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, for speaking to us and speaking so candidly here on Times Now. And for more on this, let's go across to our guest. Joining us live is Mr. Ganesh Karthik, spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Mithun Vijay Kumar is political analyst joining us. Pratap Kanagala, spokesperson of JDS. George Kurian, political analyst, also joining us. And with us also is Saket Yengi, who's an advocate and spokesperson of the KPCC. Mr. Karthik, let me start with you, sir. Now, the allegations are very grave. If the Lokayukta has in fact caught an MLA's son allegedly accepting bribe for an organization that his father is heading, isn't it a clear-cut case of corruption?
Yes, it's a clear-cut case of corruption, and that is why the Lokayukta, which was reinitiated by our government, has taken this step. In fact, you have quoted our Honorable Chief Minister, who talks of zero tolerance to corruption. Against all the kinds of allegation which we have been demanding throughout, that any iota of evidence, please give it to us, please give it to Lokayukta. See, this is a proof for our commitment, against the earlier allegations. If this government has allowed the Lokayukta to go and conduct investigation and arrest those involved in corruption charges, don't you think it proves that we are committed to our zero tolerance to corruption? The very fact that the earlier government has dispensed with this idea of Lokayukta, and after coming to power, we reintroduced Lokayukta, and within a short span of time, they have done it.
Saket Yengi,
knowing fully well that this person's father happens to be the chairman of that.
Okay, let's get in a quick response. Let's get in a quick response, because the BJP spokesperson suggests that this shows the commitment of the government in cracking down on corruption. Your response to Mr. Karthik? Saket.
Yes. Firstly, the BJP government, since the day it has come to power through Operation Lotus, which itself is a baby of corruption, we have been seeing several allegations of corruption. And none of the cases of corruption or the allegations of the corruption have been investigated by the government so far. None of the matter has been referred to the CID. None of the matters have been referred to the CBI or to the judicial inquiry. As such, in one or the other way, it is trying to say, safeguard the corrupt officials, safeguard the corrupt politicians. And now, this is something interesting, that the government has not taken any action. It is the Lokayukta which has taken an action on its own.
Right.
The government cannot claim the credit of something acting against the corruption. If the government would have had any opportunity, that would have been saved also. But the question is, it is out of the control of the government. Now the investigation is already in the process. The FIR has been registered, and the seizure and confiscation of the amount has already been done by this Lokayukta. Now, government is not in a position to safeguard its own MLA.
No, but the important question here also is, sir, what has the Congress government done in the past? The Congress government virtually disbanded the Lokayukta. This is the government saying that here we have the Lokayukta has been strengthened under the regime of the BJP.
Madhu, I have one more point.
One at a time, please. Gentlemen, we have time. I'm going to come across to all of you. Let Saket respond to that question.
Saket mentioned we have not done anything. Earlier, there was an allegation on one of the ministers.
Okay.
Minister was made to resign, conducted an inquiry, and he came clean of it.
Okay.
He has come out to clean.
Okay.
So we did conduct an inquiry on a charge on the minister.
Multiple points. There are a lot of points. There are a lot of points to debate here. But Saket, quick response, please, to the question I asked you.
Firstly, it is not demoralizing the Lokayukta or reducing the powers of Lokayukta. ACB was a separate wing which could deal with the corruption in an effective manner, for which reason it was thought it appropriate to establish an ACB at that point of time.
No, because Saket, let me just, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but I just want to read out what the High Court said in 2022. The High Court said that the very constitution of the ACB is to shield corrupt politicians, ministers, officials from the watchful eyes of the Lokayukta. The government, in fact, is weakening the Lokayukta to protect persons from prosecution. It has also gone on to say that it was a transgression to usurp powers of Lokayukta, but impression that CM is supreme and absolute, no independent application of mind by the state government, and also goes on to say that the conditions of the executive order clearly depicts a possibility to favor the party in power or the party men. These are very, very scathing observations of the High Court, which certainly do not paint the previous government in good light. Two wrongs don't make a right. But certainly the previous government also has been castigated by the High Court through the actions when it comes to weakening the powers of the Lokayukta, Saket.
So let me answer that question firstly. First of all, the court was not placed with the material as to how many cases have been investigated by the ACB, satisfactorily have been investigated, how many cases the charge sheet have been filed. So those details were unavailable before the court. The number of cases which were investigated or raids have been conducted, confiscation has been made, was totally not placed before the court, and court had no reason or occasion to deal with that aspect of the matter. But however, what was canvassed was that it was to weaken the Lokayukta institution, the ACB was constituted. That was an argument placed. But the BJP...
No, this is the order of the observation of the court, sir.
But the BJP's Advocate General has defended ACB.
Okay.
BJP's Advocate General has defended ACB, saying that it was necessary, it has done its job very well, and there was no wrong on the part of the ACB.
Ah, interesting. Mr. Karnik, I want to come to you on this point. This is a very important point, because while the BJP claims that we have strengthened the Lokayukta, you didn't have a choice. It's the High Court that ordered it, and what's more, you were supporting the same ACB on which you were criticizing the Siddaramaiah government then, when it was brought in.
And they were defending it.
Let him respond, sir. Let him respond.
I was a legislator when this was decided by the Congress government. The entire BJP on both the houses have vehemently, opposed the introduction of ACB. If that was the case, we wouldn't have, avoided the introduction of this thing at all. We fought for it. We fought for the Lokayukta, and when the government did not listen, we went to the well of the house to protest this. So whatever he says, I have to check on that, what the Advocate General has said in the court.
That's a matter of public record, Mr. Karnik.
But I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of it because I'm not a legislator now. What has happened, I really don't know. But BJP has welcomed the High Court order, and we have re-established the Lokayukta. And Lokayukta has conducted this...
no, but whatever you say... Whatever you say, sir, Mr. Karnik, end of the day, the allegation is that, and there have been a series of episodes. Let me just quickly highlight some of the episodes. We all know what happened in the case of Mr. Ishwarappa, of Mr. MTB Nagaraj, what has happened in the case of the Contractors Association writing to the Prime Minister's office. We all know about the entire, so-called bribe gate of journalists. All these are matters of public record, and there are several such incidents. The allegation of the opposition repeatedly is that this is a 40% corruption government. Once, whether there is action taken or not, what is very significant is that there are those who are being in the ruling party who are being caught with their hand in the till, literally, Mr. Ganesh Karnik, and that is a very serious issue because this appears to be putting the BJP on back foot.
Fine, you refer two ministers. In one minister's case, an investigation was ordered, he came clean out of it and he was asked to resign. In the second case, the person who went to court, he was jailed, he did not even come to court on summons. Mr. Kemparna, who is the president of this thing, and where is the case now? On whom the defamation case is on? So, we have been, not we in the sense, Chief Minister has been telling, if you don't have faith in your system, please go to Lokayukta and give a complaint.
Okay.
None of them have gone to the Lokayukta.
Okay. Let me bring in other panelists on that note. Let me bring in other panelists. Pratap Kanagal, the spokesperson of JDS. Pratap Kanagal, Chief Minister has repeatedly said that if you do not have faith in the government, go to the Lokayukta. It's an independent body. But why have the complaints not gone there then? That is the charge coming in from the BJP. Please respond, Pratap Kanagal.
First of all, let me Mr. Ganesh Karthik's claim that BJP formed...
I'm Ganesh Karthik, not Karthik, please.
Yes, Mr. Ganesh Karnik, yes.
Karnik only, yeah. Mr. Ganesh Karthik's claim that BJP government has formed this Lokayukta, it's absolutely lies. It's a wrong claim to make.
We re-established. We did not say we
High Court.
I used the word re-established.
Yes, we just debated that. It's the High Court order. That we have established that it's the High Court order, and the government's claim that it's strengthened is actually more pretty much a fait accompli. It's pretty much what the High Court ordered. Yes. Go ahead, Mr. Kanagal.
And from the day one, the BJP came to power through Operation Lotus. They have been engaged in corruption, one or other. It's not just even a contractor committed suicide by naming a minister. No action was taken. After that, we from
What is
JDS, we had provided in the house. We had provided
an inquiry, and inquiry the minister came clean out of it.
Sir, if you allow me to speak, I will complete. Then
you are telling a wrong thing. We did not do anything. We conducted an inquiry.
No, you did not do anything. You did not do anything. For the sake of it, you did some this thing and gave a clean chit. That's all.
No, Mr. Karnik, the question that arises, once again, let me just make this point clear. Mr. Karnik, I'll just take 10 seconds. And I want Mr. Karnik to respond. Mr. Karnik, the question that is arising over here, in this case, in other cases, while here the Lokayukta may be probing it, while the minister may have stepped down, Mr. Ishwarappa, for instance, what happened to the entire criminal investigation? Was the person responsible or allegedly responsible punished? That's the question that is being asked. Was the government shielding the powerful politicians who are of the ruling regime?
See, the inquiry was conducted, and inquiry, Mr. Ishwarappa has come out clean. There is nothing. If you don't know, I'm sorry, you don't know about it.
Why and he is not reinstated as a minister? He is a senior leader.
We have not reinstated because this was issued. No. He was made. See, please don't confuse issues. Mr. Ishwarappa was made to resign. He resigned.
I'm just asking a question.
After that, an inquiry was conducted, and the inquiry ministers come out clean.
Sir,
who did the inquiry? Agency. The inquiry agency conducted it. Whichever is the agency, and it is given a clean sheet. Which is given a clean sheet. Second case, you talked about MT Nagaraj. MT Nagaraj has gone to court on a defamation suit.
Okay.
On that defamation suit, the accused, he did not even come to the court. He summoned the summons, and he was arrested. He was in jail. The defamation case is still on. And again, Mr. Prasad said about 40% commission. Has any one of them gone to Lokayukta, given any complaint?
Okay, the question of did you complain? Did you complain? George Kurian, has anyone given a formal complaint? Till now, you can allege 40% commission for political reasons, but has a formal complaint with facts, with documents, with material, has that been lodged in any case? That's the question coming in from the BJP spokesperson. Please respond.
Well, Madhav, I'm not sure about whether there is a formal complaint that has been lodged from the...
You should be, sir. Part. If that is corruption is a serious issue, you should be aware of the facts.
Having said that, but there are acquisitions from the BJP, leaders from the BJP itself. So, that's more than enough, I believe. And I strongly believe that the Chief Minister, Basavaraj Bommai, this event from the anti-corruption wing of the Lokayukta, the recent raid that has happened and which has come to the light, is not going to bring them in a good light. The elections are due in a few months from now, and this time it's known to everyone about the corruption part of the BJP. They don't spare their own leaders when it comes to corruption. The Contractors Association has raised in the past and things like that. I strongly believe that it's a politician-bureaucrat nexus that is going on in Karnataka, which has come to the light at this point in time. I'm happy that the accused have been sent to the judicial custody of 14 days, and the MLA himself is absconding at this point in time. He's applied for a arrest bail in this case, and I'm sure BJP, if it really intends to put a period on corruption, they have to walk the talk, and I'm happy that they have re-established the Lokayukta and the anti-corruption thing as the BJP spokesperson is claiming out here. Why don't they go ahead and open up all the cases of Congress and please investigate? We are more than happy to for the BJP to go and investigate all the cases against all the Congress leaders in this scenario.
Okay, but I'm going to restrict the question
to contest the assembly elections on the.
Let me bring in Mithun Vijay Kumar because what is being alleged here by George Kurian is very grave. He is alleging that there is a bureaucrat and politician nexus in Karnataka that has been exposed, and what is of material importance is that the son Prashant also is a government officer. The person from whom allegedly these 8 crore rupees were received, 2 crores in the office of Prashant, and Virupakshappa's residence 6 crores allegedly the Lokayukta claims was received. Now this is a huge sum of money, and this demonstrates a bureaucrat politician nexus in Karnataka as far as the ruling regime is concerned. Mithun Vijay Kumar, how do you view this?
Madhav, right now there is too much of tutu-meme going on between BJP and Congress, and I just heard George Kurian himself saying that BJP doesn't spare its own leaders when it comes to corruption. And yes, that is true. In this particular case, this is like one of the rarest occasions where you can see a government body acting against a politician belonging to the ruling party itself. So it gives a clear message that no one is above the law. Now, just think, if Congress was in power in Karnataka, will such an arrest happen? The answer is a clear no, because the first thing Congress ensured after coming to power was to make Lokayukta ineffective. It was a lion without claws. So they don't have the moral authority to question BJP in this particular matter.
But that's the debate we had, sir. The ACB, the BJP government also argued in the High Court to protect the ACB. That is the exact argument being made by the opposition spokespersons. So how can the BJP hold the moral high ground then?
The BJP legislators have clearly opposed that, is what I can understand from here. And
not at all, sir.
By the lawyers.
Please don't quote him wrong. I was a legislator and we fought against it. We went to the floor of the House.
But what was the argument in the court? What was the argument in the court?
I'm not aware of it.
Mr. Kanagal, what is the argument in the court?
BJP legislators were against ACB, then why do we have to even question that? See, during Congress's rule in Karnataka, we have seen plenty of cases where, honest government officials were getting transferred because of the pressure from various mafias. So today when
certainly, I'm not saying any one political party has a higher moral ground, but two wrongs certainly don't make a right, gentlemen. I think that's the important point. I want to quickly bring in Saket. Quick response from Saket as far as the legal aspect is concerned. Saket, there are also questions. While the Congress certainly diluted their Lokayukta and there were scathing observations of the High Court, here you have Mithun Vijay Kumar who says that it is Congress which really, and its own track record of corruption, which is there on display for everyone to see. Quick response, Saket Yanagi. I think you're on mute, sir. Please unmute yourself and continue speaking.
One of the core promises made by the BJP is to abolish ACB the moment they come to power. Since ACB was working well, they did not abolish it, and they waited for the court to abolish it, and they defended the ACB. And secondly, the BJP has no moral ground to say that ACB did not do well, because they justified the ACB.
Okay.
And secondly, all those allegations, if you can look into the allegations against Mr. Ishwarappa, the then minister, that was inclusive of the corruption. But the FIR was registered only for the IPC sections, but not for the corruption.
Okay.
Even though there was a clear-cut communication by the victim who committed suicide because of the corruption or the level.
Well, gentlemen, unfortunately, when it comes to Karnataka, the more things change, the more they remain the same. There are allegations and counter-allegations, but no political party really, on the issue of corruption at least can hold the higher moral ground, because there are very serious, very grave charges that are in fact being put forth in the public domain. All of this may be happening in the wake of elections there in Karnataka. It is the Lokayukta that has conducted the raids and unearthed all of this. But the point is that for people in the state, this is really something that is a wake-up call. And certainly, of course, this is the last thing they want to see, that how public resources, how public funds. Yes, quick 10 seconds to you.
See, there has been allegations on BJP that when in power, we make use of institutions of investigations for our favor. Here, without interfering into the functioning of Lokayukta, they have gone and raided. So this itself is a proof that we are zero tolerance.
Well, action must be taken. Action must be taken. There's no two ways about it. I agree with you that action has to be taken, but the very fact that there is such rampant corruption in place, and it has been reported several times over, that in itself is a cause for worry for citizens, not just in Karnataka, but across the country. I'd like to thank all of you gentlemen for joining us this evening. And with that, it's a wrap on NewsHour this evening.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं मोहुल, who is founder and CEO of Matter. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So Mohul, we've already seen this bike. I still don't know what you guys are going to call it right now, but hopefully, we're going to know about it in a couple of months, I believe, and more details that we already know about specifications and what you are offering with this bike. But उसके अलावा कुछ और चीज़ें हैं जिनकी डिटेल्स अभी आनी बाकी हैं. सो इस बाइक को लेकर थोड़ा टाइमलाइन इफ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन किस तरह का टाइमलाइन रहने वाला है एंड कब इसका ऑफिशियली लॉन्च आप करने वाले हैं?
Definitely. So, first thing is at the Auto Expo we have also showcased the 6 kilowatt version of the bike. So at launch we had a 5 kilowatt version. Now we also have a 6 kilowatt version of the bike. And in terms of timeline, in the next 30 days we will be giving out the spec variants and pricing to the larger market. We will be opening up bookings for the Matter motorbike this quarter, and deliveries summer में शुरू हो जाने वाली है.
शुरू हो जाएंगी. सो एक चीज़ जो बहुत ही टेक्नोलॉजी का हूँ इंटरेस्टिंग है इस बाइक के बारे में, इसमें गियर है. इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक होने के साथ साथ इसमें वो आइस वाला आपने एसेंस और बहुत बड़ा एसेंस इसमें बचा के रखा है. सो वो कैसे आपने उस पर काम किया एंड हाउ डिड यू थॉट अबाउट दिस कि ये अगर हम इसमें इंक्लूड कर पाते हैं गियर शिफ्ट वाला पैटर्न, सो वो कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ? हाउ
So when we in 2019 when we were starting out, we spoke to a lot of consumers. Electric bike क्यों नहीं खरीद? In 2019 there were only a handful of players who were giving motorcycles as a product, and what we realized is that motorcycling is emotion driven. You name your bike, you work with it, you control it, you become one with your bike, and from there the common theme came, control nahi mil raha, feel.
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi criticizes India at Cambridge University in London, says democracy is at risk owing to blatant censorship. The Gandhi scion also made a bizarre remark on Kashmir, claims he was warned about possible terror attack but terrorists didn't harm him. Rahul also refrained from terming Pulwama attack as a terror attack sponsored by Pak, instead says Kashmir is so-called violent place in India. Karnataka BJP MLA named accused number 1 in alleged bribegate steps down as KSDL chairman. Kong launches Pay MLA campaign. Day after Lokayukta recovered 1.7 crore cash from BJP MLA M. Virupaksapa's office, Chief Minister Bommai promised an unbiased probe into the matter. Enforcement Directorate conducts raids across Jharkhand in coal scam. 3.5 crore rupees seized so far. Raids are underway in Ranchi, Ramgarh and Hazaribagh.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
आ चुका है पोको X5 Pro का बॉक्स टेबल पे. अब इसको जल्दी से करेंगे अनबॉक्स. ब्लैक और येलो कलर का ये बॉक्स है, जो ज्यादातर पोको के स्मार्टफोन पे आपको येलो कलर, जो इसका सिग्नेचर कलर है, वो दिखाई देगा. Sometimes it is really tricky to take the tapes off, so let me try it with my nails. One tape down successfully. गाइज, ये जो फीलिंग है ना अनबॉक्स करने वाली, ये काफी ही मजेदार लगती है. जब भी आप कोई नया गैजेट अनबॉक्स करते हैं तो मजा तो आता है. जैसे कि यहाँ देखेंगे, बॉक्स के पीछे की तरफ बहुत सारे डिटेल्स लिखे हैं, बॉक्स के बारे में फीचर्स लिखे हैं, वो दिखाएंगे और उसके बारे में बात करेंगे जब फोन हाथ में आ जाएगा. इनसाइड द बॉक्स यू गेट दिस लिटिल पेपर बॉक्स एज वेल, जिसमें ज्यादातर पेपर वर्क और प्रोटेक्टिव केस ही होता है. लाइक आई सेड, वही मिला है हमको. यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा मैनुअल टाइप है. यहाँ पर फोन को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए आपको मिलता है ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोटेक्टिव केस, और साथ में सिम इजेक्टर टूल, विच इज वेरी बेसिक. अब मुझे बॉक्स के अंदर दिखाई दे रहा है हमारा डिवाइस, जिसके बारे में ये वीडियो बना रहे हैं. उफ, वेरी वाइब्रेंट एंड पेपी येलो कलर. Just like the box, the smartphone also boasts the combination of black, or call it dark grey, along with yellow. और कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग डिजाइन आपको फ्रेम्स पर भी दिखेगा. जो कलर आपको यहाँ कैमरा मॉड्यूल पर दिख रहा है, पीछे ये जो पैच पर दिख रहा है, वही आपको उसी कलर का फ्रेम दिखाई देगा विद येलो एक्सेंट्स. वेट की बात करें तो अच्छा है, लाइट वेट है, और यहाँ पे जो येलो है दिस इज लिटिल बिट डल, नॉट एज वाइब्रेंट एज द बॉक्स और प्रॉपर येलो। वैसे तो मैट फिनिशिंग है, लेकिन ये जो कलर है इसके अंदर हल्का सा
Hello and welcome. You are watching the NewsHour Agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. Former Congress President Rahul Gandhi's address to Cambridge University students on learning to listen in the 21st century has again fanned a storm back home. And this is because of the charges made by the Congress leader in the speech. Elaborating largely on his experience as an opposition leader, he reiterated what has been the theme of the Bharat Jodo Yatra as well, that democracy is dead in India and all institutions have become subservient to the BJP and the central government led by Narendra Modi. However, the problem is that most of these claims are not borne out by facts on the ground. But before going any further, listen in to what it is that Rahul Gandhi said.
We're facing an attack on the basic structure of Indian democracy. In the Constitution, India is described as a union of states, and that union requires a negotiation, requires a conversation, and it's that negotiation that is actually coming under attack and under threat. I've been called by intelligence officers who tell me, listen, please be careful what you're saying on the phone, because we are sort of recording this stuff. So this is a constant pressure that we feel. Cases on opposition. I've got number of criminal libel cases for things that, you know, should under no circumstances be criminal libel cases, but that's the story.
Now let's look at the claims versus the facts. Consider this. Rahul Gandhi claimed that opposition leaders in India are constrained, sometimes violently. How does that square with the fact that he himself has just undertaken a pan-India yatra in the last few months? He speaks of institutions of democracy being under attack. But this claim came on a day when the Congress hailed the Supreme Court's order on the reform of the Election Commission. And the series of elections in the Northeast and Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu by polls also underscored the robustness of the Indian democratic process. No wonder then that the BJP is now calling Rahul Gandhi's claim a case of नाच न जाने आंगन टेढ़ा।
देश को बदनाम करने की ये साजिश बार बार जो विदेशी धरती से होती है, ये अपने आप में प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा करता है कि कांग्रेस का एजेंडा क्या भारत के लोकतंत्र पर बार बार प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा करने का काम ये कांग्रेस करती रहेगी?
So that brings us to the question, what is the purpose of the Cambridge address? Is there a genuine concern for Indian democracy and its reform, or pulling down an India that seems to have repeatedly rejected the idea that the Congress now stands for? Is this critique of India actually born out of the dislike for the man who leads India today, Narendra Modi?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, we have Tanveer Ahmed, National Spokesperson of the JDS, Ravi Srivastava, Political Analyst, Siddharth Verma, IAS Officer. My first question is to you, Shehzad Poonawalla, National Spokesperson of the BJP. If Rahul Gandhi feels this way, what stops him from going and addressing people? The view of a democracy can be subjective.
Look, Padmaja, there's not much to say about the ramblings and rantings of a politically irrelevant entity like Rahul Gandhi. But the fact of the matter is that at the time when the world is celebrating India, the IMF has just said that India is the bright spot of world economic growth. You have had the G20 presidency in India, the foreign ministers are here. You've had United States, Europe, Russia, all of them looking to India for a global solution. At that time, there is a man who is an MP who goes and finds it opportune to berate Bharat on the bhumi of Britain. Once upon a time our rulers. And what does he say? He peddles absolute fakery. The same Supreme Court whose verdict they are celebrating since yesterday and dancing, the same Supreme Court closed Pegasus categorically and said that, look, he called for the phones, nobody submitted it. If there was so-called Pegasus on his phone, he should have submitted it to the courts when the courts were asking for it. Secondly, then he goes and uses the language about India being a conglomeration of states similar to the language that Amrit Pal is speaking in Punjab. Thirdly, you have Rahul Gandhi once again peddling lies and narratives, and it seems to be more of an idea of so much of Vyakti Virod that it transcends into Desh Virod, berating agencies of this country, berating institutions of this country just because they don't give you a favorable outcome. When you win an election, the election commission is fine. When you win a case, the Supreme Court is fine.
Okay.
And then you have Rahul. And finally, just one last point, that Rahul Gandhi goes and says that minorities are being attacked. This on a day, Padmaja, when his party has been wiped out of the Northeast, won 8 out of 180 seats, and my party has won 5 times that number in an area dominated by minorities and tribals.
Okay,
We have
Ravi
been serving
Srivastava,
in Goa for the last 10 years.
Ravi Srivastava, yesterday 3 things happened. One, a committee was set up on Gautam Adani incident, which, by the way, the Supreme Court said we will not take a sealed cover suggestion of names from the centre. Second, you had the Supreme Court again bringing in the Election Commission reforms. Third, you had the election results. If anything, all of this shows that democracy is alive and kicking. Then what's this entire talk about, and that too in Cambridge, saying, oh, in India all institutions have been destroyed by Mr. Modi and the BJP?
Let's go point by point. EC's order, what order has come now, and before that what the government has done? Appointed the CEC when he was retiring in the month of December 22.
Sir, talk about what happened yesterday. Okay, if the Supreme Court had been overridden by Mr. Modi, then how did the Supreme Court yesterday form the Adani committee and bring about the EC reform? How?
India's democracy was not restored yesterday by one order. We had to see what has happened in the past. We had to see what the Supreme Court has said on the Adani issue. I have a very little, doubt about it, that there will be, again the Supreme Court has asked.
Let me quote to you what Mr. Gandhi said. Indian democracy under pressure, under attack, parliament, free press, judiciary are all constrained. Where is the constraint on judiciary when the judiciary yesterday is coming and giving 2 orders, which by the way the Congress hailed as a slap on the face of the BJP? Then how is the judiciary constrained?
You are referring to only yesterday's decisions. You are not watching what is happening in the country for last so many years.
Like?
8 years, 9 years.
Like?
Like a Siddiq Kappan, like a Muhammad Zubair.
Answer me, that same judiciary has now given bail to Siddiq Kappan. How is the judiciary constrained?
After how many years? Is it the way of treating a journalist for speaking a truth?
They will do it on the basis of facts, not according to what makes you happy.
No, not facts. This is not a fact. The fact is this, that the ED is only after the opposition leaders. 95% cases are against them for no reason.
You know, the funny thing is that you can keep shifting goalposts. Here's the thing. When you say that the Election Commission is under constraints and it has been freed only yesterday after what the Supreme Court said, let me remind you that yesterday there was a bypoll in Tamil Nadu which the Congress won by a margin of 66,233 votes. How then, how is it possible, Mr. Tanveer Ahmed, that institutions like the EC, the judiciary, the free press are all under constraints?
Firstly, let us really speak about what Rahul Gandhi said. Rahul Gandhi is an alma mater of Cambridge and the real alma mater. So we should really appreciate a leader of India going and speaking at such a prime institute. And second thing, what Rahul Gandhi said, I think some of things we need to agree and some things I would not agree.
What do you agree with? Tell me that.
And pertinent questions which Rahul Gandhi raised, which my good friend let me tell you.
Yes.
Shehzad Poonawalla is equating attack on the Prime Minister is attack on India. No, absolutely no. Because Baba Sahab Ambedkar, who has given us the constitution, has given the right to every common citizen that we can really attack on the things which we don't agree upon.
Fair enough, sir, but it has to be factual. You cannot make attacks which have no facts backing them. For example, let me quote to you another thing, sir. It was said by Mr. Gandhi, and he showed a picture. Tanveer Ahmed, hold on. Mr. Gandhi showed a picture, and I will bring in Siddharth Verma on this. Mr. Gandhi showed a picture and said that The movement of opposition leaders is not allowed. I was just standing outside Parliament and this is how I was treated by the police. In fact, sometimes this crackdown is extremely violent. Now let me tell you that he himself after that admits that he went through the country for Bharat Jodo for 5 months, 4,000 kilometers, 14 states, and of these 14 states, 5 are BJP ruled states, and in addition to that, Delhi and J&K, where the center controls the police. How is it, Siddharth Verma, that you have the movement of opposition leaders constrained?
You know, when I was in Cambridge 10 months ago, the same arguments were given. That, you know, the whole system of elections, of judiciary, of freedom of movement, the constitution, everything is rigged in this country. And the kind of arguments are given, you know, which portray India as not Bharat, not India, which we all know about, but as if this is North Korea or China, where the government is trying and the state is trying to, you know, bring in different kinds of exploitation over its people. And this is completely, you know, against everything which we experience in our lives every day. Also, as we all know, in the 21st century, India is developing at a very fast pace. In foreign policy, India is taking a very independent stand, and this has irked many people across the globe. In the Western media, we see that there's a lot of anti-India narrative going on. This sort of statement actually, you know, gives credence to this anti-India narrative. People start saying, oh, it's not just the Western media, but people from India as well who are saying. And my main point is that you can agree and disagree about things that are happening in India, but when you go to Cambridge, when you go on a foreign soil, you are an ambassador of India. Whatever you say there, you don't say as a political leader, as a civil servant, as a journalist, you say it as an Indian. And therefore, we must understand that whatever we are saying should portray the country in at least, you know, you should do justice to what's going on in the country.
That's a very valid point, and which is why when you said, Tanveer Ahmed, that, you know, it's not anti-national to speak against Mr. Modi, absolutely. But when you're giving a skewed narrative about the country, which is not actually true to what's happening on the ground, you play into the hands of the people who benefit from running down India. Again, let me give you an example. Mr. Gandhi said that opposition leaders are not allowed to move about. Let me tell you that since 2014, Congress leader Digvijay Singh has carried out a yatra in 2017, the Narmada Yatra. Hardik Patel took out the Sankalp Yatra in 2017. Vice Rajshekhar Reddy took out in fact, Jagan Reddy took out a Praja Sankalp Yatra in 2017. You had Priyanka Gandhi carrying out the Pratigya Yatra in 2021. Akhilesh Yadav took out a Yatra in 2021. Aam Aadmi Party took out a Tiranga Sankalp Yatra. So what are we talking about?
Good.
As if it's a state of emergency where people are locked up in their houses.
Good. Firstly, by allowing an yatra, no, Narendra Modi or the police are not doing any favor. I'm not talking about...
But Mr. Gandhi is telling people in Cambridge that opposition leaders are not allowed to move about. They're not allowed to meet people.
Padmaja, let me ask you one question. Let me ask Mr. Shehzad Poonawalla a question. When Narendra Modi went to foreign soil and he said, "मैं 60 साल का कचरा साफ कर रहा हूं," was it not anti-national? And in Rome, in Paris, in London, in America, in Seoul, in UAE, Narendra Modi ji went around to speak against the prime ministers, including Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, everybody on foreign soils. I mean, was it accepted?
Answer this, Shehzad Poonawalla.
I would like to say yes, it is. Because the Constitution of India has given Mr. Modi, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Shehzad Poonawalla and Tanveer all the right to criticize.
Okay, why is it okay when you do it, Shehzad Poonawalla?
First of all, Padmaja, wasn't it a fact that India was regarded as fragile five economy before 2014? Isn't it a fact that people identified the every second or third week a scam that took place with the brand of India? So these were facts that were on record. But today look at the lies that is being peddled. And forget the lies, that is still fine. You can be a compulsive cynic. But on the one hand, Rahul Gandhi, at a time when Britain has taken help of a person of Indian origin, an Indian MP goes to the land of Britain and starts abusing.
And he's not done this for the first time. He has asked Nicholas Burns for intervention of US in Indian democracy. He has gone and said China ne pitai kar di sena ki. He has said Hamburg mein ki Indian culture is responsible for the treatment of women. Why, while abusing, you abuse BJP, you abuse Shehzad Punara, you abuse Modi, you abuse Amit Shah, but why abuse India and Indian institutions? And the second point, Padmaja, just because you're a student of history, look who's talking about these institutions. Padmaja, please remind them about Justice Barul Islam. Once a judge, then an MP, then again a judge, then again made an MP, then made a judge in the Supreme Court, and then Justice Beg, he superseded Justice Khanna, and then he was taken into Minority Commission. And what about Justice A.N. Ray? He was sidelined, and Justice A.N. Ray was allowed to supersede, and Justice Khanna was sidelined. Justice Ranganath Mishra was sent to Rajya Sabha. Election commissioners, let's talk about the Naveen Chawla, against whom unprecedented Chief Election Commissioner Gopalaswamy wrote a long letter about his pro-Congress stand. And we also remember MS Gill was made a minister. So when these people preach about institutions, it is like Satan preaching scriptures, or it is like Congress party advocating rights of Loktantra. They don't have any Loktantra in their own party.
And the definition of democracy, Ravi Srivastava, seems to be extremely strange. You give examples of how these girls walked up to you and said that we have been gang raped, but we can't report it because we will not get married. First of all, how is it relevant to the Modi government? Nobody can quite understand. Then you make India seem like this medieval place where, first women are raped and then are left to fend for themselves for fear of their honor. The second thing is that real democracy, in fact, has been outlined by Mr. Gandhi himself when he was in Srinagar. He actually said this. I want you to listen to what he himself said at the end of his Bharat Jodo Yatra in Srinagar.
हिंदुस्तान के सबसे टेररिस्ट इन्फेस्टेड जिले में जहां भी आप देखो तिरंगा 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 सब जगह। कौन उठाए थे तिरंगा? हमारे पास सिर्फ 125 यात्री थे। कश्मीर के लोग तिरंगा उठाए थे। एक ने नहीं उठाया था, हजारों ने उठा रखा था।
Isn't that real democracy? Where a terror-infested state में तिरंगा 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 तिरंगा. What is the death of democracy we are talking about?
I think you are just quoting one instance, and it's a very good thing what Rahul Gandhi said. I'll come to one more thing. Is that he appreciated Modi's Jan Dhan Yojana and Ujjwala Yojana. Why don't you talk about that? Did he not talk about it?
Great.
He appreciated Modi.
तो अच्छी बात है ना? डेमोक्रेसी में तो होता है ये सब.
Why are you making a narrative that he only maligned India everywhere?
I am not making. I am saying that his own argument that India में democracy नहीं है is contradicted by he himself. He started by saying कि democracy खत्म है. Then he said कि democracy में मोदी ने ये दो स्कीम अच्छी कर दी हैं. So democracy में ही होगा ना ये सब.
George Soros says something, he becomes anti-national. Hindenburg report comes, they become anti-national. The BBC documentary comes, they become anti-national. I mean, why are we so insulated to hear any kind of a criticism?
Okay, why are you insulated to criticism? Siddharth Verma, let me ask you, because you actually took on Mr. Gandhi the last time he had gone to London to speak. Why are you so touchy? As an Indian, do you seem petulant when you can't even hear a little bit of criticism?
Yeah, so, even when we are talking about democracy, right, this time this event was not open to the public and not open to other students. This was a closed door event. So if we really want to be democratic, because last year they had this experience of me questioning them, so this time the event was closed door and a lot of patriotic students couldn't actually get in. Now why I'm very touchy about this statement that India is a union of states and not a nation. And last year in the parliament, Mr. Gandhi said the same thing, and the Prime Minister countered him on the floor of the House. And after a few months, I countered him in Cambridge. Now, he said these statements again, that India is not a nation, it's a union of states, and there's a negotiation going on, despite of the fact that in the Constituent Assembly, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar settled this debate for once and for all. And he said that India is not the result of any negotiation, of any agreement. And now we can see anti-India elements, we can see separatists using the same argument कि भाई इंडिया तो यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स है, ये कोई नेशन नहीं है और हम समझौता कर रहे हैं. तो उस समझौते में वी कैन सेपरेट फ्रॉम इंडिया एज वेल, which is not possible and which is not the reality. India is not a negotiation.
Don't unwittingly become that shoulder on which an anti-India propaganda can be peddled from. Shehzad Poonawala seems very touchy, seems too petulant, can't listen to criticism, branding people anti-national.
No, Padmaja, it's not that. Everyone, India is the culture which has even discussed and has debates on its scriptures. It's not like a theology that kills you if you question the scripture. So that is not the culture of India. But Padmaja, I want to ask you, when Mr. Rahul Gandhi says that minorities are under attack in this country, I have two fundamental questions. A, those who were behind 1984, who justified 1984 genocide saying बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है धरती हिलती है, Hashimpura, Bhagalpur, Meerut, Maliana, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Jalgaon, all of these riots took place under your watch, and you accuse the Uddhav Sena of orchestrating Mumbai, and then you go and tie up with them. Today you give us lectures about minority treatment. I mean, this is ridiculous. And secondly, if the minorities were under attack, pray how is the BJP blooming its kamal across the northeast, where Madhav, Matthew and Mohammed all are voting for the schemes of Mr. Modi, where Shilpa, Sultana and Sandra are welcoming the schemes of Mr. Modi, and Rahul Gandhi, the most secular person after his Bharat Jodo Yatra, has no kamal to bloom in any part of the country. So this is the contradiction that is there.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because, you know, I think there is also a contrast of choosing who your audience is and what the purpose of that speech and that choice of audience is. Yesterday, you had the Prime Minister, after 3 elections, speaking to an audience of Indians. Mr. Gandhi, at the same time, was in Cambridge, speaking to another audience altogether. We hope that both of them get their intended audience and the intended results from there. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining me. That is the beauty of democracy. The crackdown that was triggered by daylight shootout of Umesh Pal in Prayagraj continues. Facing the wrath of bulldozers today was Mashkuddin, alleged financer of gangster-turned-politician Atiq Ahmed. In fact, the ambit of the clampdown has been widened over the last few days. Today, another Don, Mukhtar Ansari's son's house, was also demolished in Mau. However, there are those like Shafiqur Rahman Bark who call it the targeting of Muslims in the garb of instant justice.
जब कानून मौजूद है हमारे पास तो कानूनी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, तो उसके मुतालिक जो भी सजा हो सकती है वो सजा दिलाइए आप। और खास तौर से मुसलमानों के साथ जुल्म हो रहा है, क्यों किसी का मकान गिराया जा रहा।
But remember this, while there are politicians who are calling demolition as persecution and targeted persecution of Muslims, these leaders forget about the fact that there are others who were caught in the crossfire on the 24th of February. Others who also have rights as much, if not more, than Atiq Ahmed. 2 gunners, both constables deployed for Umesh Pal's security by the government, also succumbed to their injuries. They were shot, they had bombs thrown at them, and today their families are vocally endorsing demolition of Mafia Raj.
मुख्यमंत्री योगी जी से ये मांग कर रहे हैं कि जिसने बेकसूर हमारे बच्चों को मारा है, जिसने मरवाया है, उस सबको सामने लाकर उसके इसके बाद में उसकी मौत। यही हमारा निवेदन मुख्यमंत्री और योगी जी से, हाँ, कि हमारे दुख को समझे तो कि बेटा जाने से क्या होता है, उसको भी दर्दनाक मौत मिलनी चाहिए।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra, spokesperson of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, Karan Verma, author, Advocate Talha Amir Rashadi, spokesperson of Rashtriya Ulema Council. My first question is to Sumaiya Rana, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. अगर अतीक अहमद और उनके बेटों के राइट्स हैं सुमैया राना, तो क्या राघवेंद्र सिंह का कोई राइट नहीं था? क्या संदीप निषाद का कोई राइट नहीं था? जब उनको दिन दहाड़े बम मार के और गोली मार करके उनकी हत्या कर दी गई, व्हाट अबाउट देयर फैमिलीज? सुमैया राना,
देखिए, दोनों ही हालतों में, चाहे आप जिनकी बात कर रही हो, जिनका अभी हाल में हादसे हुए हैं, या इससे पहले लोग, चाहे अतीक हो या कोई भी हो, जो भी माफिया हैं, जो साबित हो जाते हैं कि इन्होंने ये काम किया है गलत, बिल्कुल उनके लिए सजा का प्राविधान है और सजा होनी चाहिए और राइट भी सबके हैं। तो अब जैसे मर्डर, एक आदमी ने, घर के किसी एक फर्द ने मर्डर कर दिया किसी का, तो क्या पूरा घर जेल जाएगा? क्या उसका घर गिराना ही उसका ऑप्शन है? क्या बुलडोजर उसका ऑप्शन है?
मैम सबके खिलाफ अलग अलग अभियोग हैं। जो शाइस्ता परवीन है, जिस घर में वो रह रही थी, वो नामजद है एफआईआर में। उमेश पाल की वाइफ ने उनको नामजद किया एफआईआर में। तो ऐसा तो है नहीं कि कोई शाइस्ता परवीन दूध की धुली हुई है, या फिर जो असद अहमद है जो कि दिख रहे हैं सीसीटीवी में हाथ में बंदूक लेकर के शूट आउट की साइट पे है। वो ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई अतीक अहमद अकेले हैं इसमें, उनका पूरा फैमिली इसमें लिप्त है, संलिप्त है। तो उनको खिलाफ एक्शन क्यों ना लिया जाए? आपने पिछले 5 दिनों से एक बार भी जो दोनों गनर, जो एक पहले मौके पर मारे गए, दूसरा 5 दिनों तक अस्पताल में रहे, तड़पते रहे, उनके ऊपर बम मारा था, 5 दिन तक वो जिंदगी के लिए लड़ते रहे, उसके बाद उनकी मौत हुई है। क्या समाजवादी पार्टी ने एक बार भी उनका नाम लिया है, या उनके लिए शोक जताया है, या उनके हक की बात की है?
देखिए मैडम, मैं बोलूं?
बोलिए।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार ने खासकर अभी तक इतनी गलत तरीके से बुलडोजर का इस्तेमाल किया है कि उन पर से विश्वास उठना लाजमी है। आप कानपुर के दंगे हुए थे नुपुर शर्मा वाले मामले में, उसमें दौड़ते हुए लोग, हो सकता है जो अपने को बचा के भाग रहे हो, उनको भी नामजद कर दिया था। नामजद करने की आप बात करती है, पुलिस हमारे कंबल छीन के सीएनआरसी में भाग रही थी, उल्टा पुलिस ने हम पर जुल्म किया था, हमें नामजद कर दिया।
नामजद तो उमेश पाल की वाइफ ने किया है, जिनकी हत्या की गई है उनकी वाइफ ने कंप्लेंट की है, शाइस्ता परवीन के नाम से की है। और चलिए ठीक है, अगर यूपी पुलिस ने फंसाने के लिए नामजद कर भी दिया शाइस्ता परवीन को, तो फिर उनके जो सुपुत्र हैं वो मौके पर क्या कर रहे हैं? सीसीटीवी पे वो दिख रहे हैं वो वहां पे हाथ में बंदूक लेके।
मैं आपसे क्या कह रही हूं, मैंने डिबेट की शुरुआत में कहा कि जो साबित हो जाता है कि किसी ने कोई जुर्म किया है, गुनाह किया है, उस पर सजा लाजमी है। ये हमारे देश का कानून भी है और हमारे संविधान में भी है।
तो फिर आपकी पूरी पार्टी इसको विछंड क्यों बोल रही है? मैं आपसे सीधा सवाल ये पूछना चाहती हूं कि आज के दिन समाजवादी पार्टी क्या अतीक अहमद, शाइस्ता परवीन और असद अहमद के साथ खड़ी हुई है, या फिर राघवेंद्र सिंह और संदीप निषाद के परिवार के साथ खड़ी हुई है? समाजवादी पार्टी किसके परिवार के साथ खड़ी है? हत्या करने वाले के, या जिनकी हत्या हुई है उनके?
समाजवादी पार्टी कभी भी ना हत्या करने वालों के साथ खड़ी हुई है, ना जुल्म करने वालों के साथ खड़ी हुई है। समाजवादी पार्टी मजलूम और गरीबों की पार्टी है।
संदीप निषाद उत्तर प्रदेश के सबसे बैकवर्ड कम्युनिटी से आते हैं मैम, सबसे बैकवर्ड निषाद कम्युनिटी से आते हैं। उनकी गलती सिर्फ ये थी कि वो माफिया ना हो करके गनर थे, वो उमेश पाल की हत्या करने नहीं, उनकी प्रोटेक्शन करने के लिए लगाए गए थे। इसीलिए उनके मर्डर पर आप एकदम चुप हैं। आप मजलूम की बात कर रहे हैं, संदीप निषाद सबसे मजलूम कम्युनिटी से है उत्तर प्रदेश में, उनके लिए क्यों नहीं बोल रहे आप?
देखिए, देश में कानून है, इतनी बड़ी न्यायपालिका है, सम्मानित न्यायपालिका हमारे देश की, हमारे प्रदेश की इस बात को तय करेगी कि कहां पे कौन गुनाहगार है और उसको सजा होनी चाहिए। समाजवादी पार्टी उसका सम्मान करती है, जो भी हमारे न्यायपालिका का जो भी फैसला होगा उसका हम सम्मान करते हैं।
तो अगर आप न्यायपालिका का फैसला करते हैं, अगर सम्मान करते हैं, तो आप इसमें अभी हिंदू मुस्लिम का एंगल क्यों दे रहे हैं? आप क्यों हिंदू मुस्लिम का एंगल दे रहे हैं?
ये आप भी अच्छी तरीके से जानती हैं कि बुलडोजर का असल इस्तेमाल कहां पे किया जा रहा है और क्यों किया जा रहा है। आपको भी अच्छी तरीके से
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, मेरे को तो ऐसा कुछ भी इंडिकेशन नहीं है। उत्तर प्रदेश में लखनऊ में कितने घर है? लखनऊ में आपको पता होगा अलीगंज में एक मंदिर है जिसको गिराया गया है बुलडोजर से। अब आप ये तो नहीं कहेंगी कि वो मंदिर क्योंकि मुसलमानों का था इसलिए गिरा दिया गया, पर वो अवैध रूप से बनाया गया था तो उसको गिराया गया। आप एक माफिया के केस में मजलूमों की और मुसलमानों का एंगल क्यों लेके आ रहे हैं?
बिल्कुल क्यों लेके आ रहे हैं वो भी मैं बता रही हूं आपको। बुलडोजर को इस तरीके से प्रोजेक्ट किया गया था बाबा जी की तरफ से कि ये मुसलमानों को और जो बड़े बड़े माफिया हैं उनके खिलाफ चलेगा, लेकिन इत्तेफाक ये कि देखिए ये
उन्होंने तो बोला कि माफिया के खिलाफ चलेगा। आप माफिया और मुसलमानों को सिनोनिमस क्यों मान रहे हैं? उन्होंने तो कहा जो गलत करेगा उसके खिलाफ चलेगा, उन्होंने मुसलमानों तो बोला नहीं, उन्होंने कहा माफिया के खिलाफ चलेगा। आप ही माफिया और मुसलमान को एक मान रही हैं, क्यों? ये तो बहुत गलत बात है।
माफिया एक नहीं आप सुनिए मेरी, कानपुर में माँ बेटी के घर बुलडोजर चला था, वो कौन सा बहुत
अच्छी बात कही आपने। आपने अभी 3 सेकंड पहले बोला कि सिर्फ मुसलमानों के खिलाफ बुलडोजर चल रहा है। कानपुर कानपुर में जो हुआ बिल्कुल गलत था, पर कानपुर में जिनके घर बुलडोजर चला सुमैया जी, वो तो मुसलमान थे ही नहीं।
मैं चाह रही हूँ कि समाजवादी पार्टी हमेशा से जुल्म और इस तरह के लोगों की मुखालिफ रही है, हमेशा उसका विरोध किया है। जहां पर जिसके साथ जुल्म होता है, गलत होता है, समाजवादी पार्टी हमेशा वहां पे खड़ी होती है और हमेशा खड़ी होती आई है।
तो सुमैया राणा जी, सुमैया राणा जी, संदीप निषाद पर तो जुल्म हुआ ना। जो आदमी अपना काम कर रहा है और उसको गोली मार दी गई, उसके ऊपर तो जुल्म हुआ है ना। तो आज तो आपको खुश होना चाहिए कि जिसने एक आदमी को मार दिया, उन पर अटैक किया, और वो ही क्यों, उमेश पाल क्यों नहीं। सबसे बड़ी बात तो राजू पाल की अगर बात करें, उनकी वाइफ तो अभी आपकी खुद की एमएलए है। आपको सबसे खुश होना चाहिए। पूजा पाल तो आज इस बात का समर्थन कर रही हैं कि एक्शन लिया जाना चाहिए।
उत्तर प्रदेश की बदहाल खस्ता हाल जो हालत है, जिसमें जीरो क्राइम की बात करने वाली भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज अपने फेल्यूर को इस तरीके से पेश कर रही है। मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ आपके माध्यम से कि क्या हो गया वो रामराज। पहले
सुमैया राणा जी, आप इस तरीके से गोलपोस्ट शिफ्ट कैसे कर रही हैं? आपने पहले बात की मुसलमानों पर हो रहा है, फिर आपने कहा मजलूमों पे हो रहा है, अब आप लॉ एंड ऑर्डर पर आ गई। पर सबसे अचंभित करने वाली बात यह है डॉक्टर कौशल कांत मिश्रा कि उनकी खुद की जो एमएलए है समाजवादी पार्टी की, वो अतीक अहमद को माफिया बोल रही हैं। पर अतीक अहमद पर जब एक्शन हो रहा है तो उसी पार्टी के सांसद मुसलमानों के ऊपर जुल्म की बात कर रहे हैं। खुद की पार्टी की एमएलए है, किसी और की भी नहीं, खुद की है, समाजवादी पार्टी की है वो।
पद्मजा जी, परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम, तो जो दुष्ट हैं उनका विनाश चल रहा है और यही रूल ऑफ लॉ है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन यही कहता है। अब बात आती है समाजवादी पार्टी को कानून व्यवस्था तब नजर नहीं आ रही थी जब बनारस में संकट मोचन में ब्लास्ट होता है, जब सीरियल ब्लास्ट उत्तर प्रदेश में होता है, और जब फैजाबाद कोर्ट के अंदर ब्लास्ट होता है। और वहां पे बात खत्म नहीं होती है, बात खत्म तब होती है कि उसके जो आतंकवादी हैं, जब समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार आती है तो वो सरकार उन आतंकवादियों से केस वापस लेने के लिए जाती है। और ये फैक्ट चेक किया जा सकता है कि हाई कोर्ट में जब पिटीशन जाती है तो हाई कोर्ट का कमेंट आता है सरकार के लिए कि आप केस क्यों वापस ले रहे हैं, इनका नाम तो पद्मश्री के लिए भेजिए। तब लॉ एंड ऑर्डर अच्छा था। इसके बाद आगे बढ़ते हैं, आप देखिए राजू पाल जो विधायक थे, उनके ऊपर गोलियां बरसाती जा रही थी, सड़क पे दौड़ा के मारा गया था। तब कानून व्यवस्था बहुत अच्छी थी, तब कानून व्यवस्था बहुत अच्छी थी जब सफाई में महोत्सव हो रहा था और मुजफ्फरनगर में दंगे चल रहे थे, तब कानून व्यवस्था बहुत अच्छी थी। समस्या क्या है कि इन्होंने तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति के पीछे चलते हुए हर जगह ये अपराधियों में भी जाति और धर्म खोजने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। आज की कानून व्यवस्था यह है कि इस समय जुलाई से लेकर अभी तक 800 माफिया को चिन्हित किया गया है, 666 गिरफ्तार हो चुके हैं, 12 लोगों की कुर्की हो चुकी है, 25 पेनसेल, बड़ी लंबी लिस्ट है। जाने कितने अपराधियों की अवैध संपत्ति को गिरा करके।
पर क्या ये सारे माफिया मुसलमान हैं? क्योंकि आपके ऊपर इल्जाम है डॉक्टर कौशल कांत मिश्रा कि आपको सारे अपराधी, सारे माफिया, सारे लोग तभी दिखते हैं जब वो मुसलमान होते हैं।
हमारे ऊपर दो आरोप हैं, एक कि वो एक पर्टिकुलर जाति के नहीं होते हैं, दूसरा वो मुसलमान होते हैं। तो मैं उसका एग्जाम्पल देता हूं। विकास दुबे समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार में सीओ, पुलिस का अफसर होता सीओ, उसको गड़ासे से काट देता है, तब कानून व्यवस्था दूसरी थी। और उसके बाद आप बता रहे ना, धर्मपाल सिंह जुलाई 2019 उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई हुई, 2020 अजीत जूथर उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई हुई, 2020 किट्टू सिंह उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई हुई, लखनऊ में शराब माफिया अवैध संपत्ति वाले सुरेश सिंह के ऊपर कार्रवाई हुई, भीम सिंह जो मुख्तार के करीबी हैं उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई। कितने नाम लें, नामों की लिस्ट गिनाने लगेंगे तो उसमें जात धर्म नहीं आता।
जात मत पूछिए माफिया की,
आपने वाइट प्लस सिक्योरिटी दे दी,
और रिलीजन भी मत पूछिए माफिया का। तला रशादी,
मुख्तार अंसारी माफिया है, अतीक अहमद माफिया है, ब्रिजेश सिंह संत है, उसे आप सिक्योरिटी दे रहे हैं।
उसे जेल से बाहर निकाल कर घुमा रहे हैं, उनके जैसे सैकड़ों लोगों को आप घुमा रहे हैं। तो ये जो सिलेक्टिव आपका वो माफिया और उसका जो आपकी डेफिनेशन है, दिक्कत इस बात से है।
एक सेकंड, क्या आप कह रहे हैं कि मुख्तार अंसारी को सिक्योरिटी दी जा रही है, मुख्तार अंसारी को पेट्रनेज मिल रहा है? आज मुख्तार अंसारी के बेटे का भी घर गिराया गया है।
ब्रिजेश सिंह, आप बताइए, ब्रिजेश सिंह को व्हाइट प्लस सिक्योरिटी मिली हुई है, वो क्या है?
तलहा रशादी,
ये फरिश्ता है, संत है क्या?
आज मुख्तार अंसारी के खिलाफ भी एक्शन हुआ है, बुलडोजर एक्शन ही हुआ है।
माफिया है। तो ये जो सिलेक्टिव इनका सिलेक्टिव डेफिनेशन है माफिया की, दिक्कत इस बात से। एनी मिश्रा के घर पे बुलडोजर कब चलेगा? आपने जफर नाम के एनआई का पत्रकार है, पुलिस उसकी जांच भी कर रही है, आपने अतीक का घर बताकर उसका घर ढा दिया। अतीक का घर बताकर ब्रिजेश शंकर को मऊ से गिरफ्तार किया गया, वो भाजपा का नेता, उसका घर नहीं ढाया जाएगा।
सर आप ये बताइए तलहा रशादी, आप हमेशा ये कहते हैं कि अंबेडकर जी का सपना था, बाबा साहेब का सपना था जय भीम जय मीम, पर आज अगर किसी की हत्या हुई है उनको आप क्यों जस्टिस की बात नहीं करते हैं? वो अगर दलित पिछड़े हैं उनके लिए जस्टिस के लिए आवाज आप क्यों नहीं उठाते हैं? आप उनकी फैमिली के साथ जाकर के सांत्वना क्यों नहीं दिखाते हैं? Why is it that you always find yourself on the wrong side of the law? Only the religion will decide कि किसके साथ आप सहानुभूति रखेंगे और किसकी राइट्स की आप बात करेंगे। उमेश पाल के कोई राइट नहीं है।
बता रहा हूँ। Now let me respond to फतिया।
तलहा रशादी,
आपने कहा, आप मुझको बताइए कि अतीक के साथ कौन खड़ा है? कोई मुसलमान, कौन सा मुसलमान अतीक की फेवर में खड़ा है? हम बात कर,
अरे समाजवादी पार्टी के सारे नेता उनके साथ खड़े हुए हैं अभी, जिनसे पूछिए वो यही कह रहे हैं कि सिर्फ उनको मुसलमान होने की सजा दी जा रही है। एज इफ पता नहीं अतीक अहमद जो है पता नहीं कहां से वो सीधे नेल्सन मंडेला है।
आप जवाब देने दीजिए पद्मजा, बोलने दीजिए। आपने बोला, आप पिछले 20-25 मिनट से बोल रही हैं, बोलने दीजिए, अब जवाब देने दीजिए। एक सवाल किया आपने, तो मेरा जवाब ये है कि अतीक के साथ कोई नहीं खड़ा है, कोई फेवर नहीं कर रहा। पर सवाल ये है कि अतीक की बीवी जिस घर में रहती थी वो जफर नाम के व्यक्ति का है, वो बांदा का है, एनआई का पत्रकार है, उसका घर ढा दिया गया बिना इंक्वायरी के। आपने गिल्ट को इस्टेब्लिश नहीं किया, पनिशमेंट आपने एडमिनिस्टर कर दिया। एक लड़का अरबाज नाम का, जो कि
कौशलकांत मिश्रा,
चल रही है,
इल्लीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन किया गया था, इस वजह से डराया गया। इल्लीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन करेंगे, ये पैट्रोनाइजेशन करते आए हैं, अपराधियों का राजनीतिकरण करते हैं और हर अपराधी के साथ इनके संबंध आते हैं। जिस तरह से
मुख्तार मुजरिम है,
मैं बता तो रहा हूं, जिनके ऊपर बुलडोजर चले हैं सबका इल्लीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन था, सबको नोटिस दिए गए हैं, ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ फॉलो हुआ है और सारे लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी गए थे, हाई कोर्ट भी गए थे।
करण वर्मा रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू तलहा रशादी,
बुलडोजर को नहीं रोका जा सकता क्योंकि वो वैध है, वो संवैधानिक है, वो कानून।
Padmaja, can I please make my point now? I've been patiently waiting. Please. Yeah. So, Padmaja, there's been a lot of talk about whether the bulldozer is legal or not. Let me tell you how it is perfectly legal. In the recent case, the Prayagraj Development Authority, using Section 27 of the Uttar Pradesh Urban Planning and Development Act, has demolished this house, and rightfully so, after due notice. There are only 4 acts under which a bulldozer has been used by the Yogi government, so they should keep their mouths closed when they don't know the law. Section 14 of the Gangster Act, if a person is booked under the Gangster Act, the UP government is within its purview to demolish the building or to seize the building. CRPC Section 83, in case there is an absconder, the UP government again is within its purview to seize this. Again, in 2020, they passed an act, Compensation of Damages to Public and Private Property Act. So the UP government, in the last 5+ years now, they have confiscated or demolished 3,100 crores worth property of gangsters, rioters or illegal constructions, which is very much within law, and hats off to the Yogi government for doing this. Today in Law and Order, I can say this with pride as a person from UP, and as the NCRB data points out, dacoity 61% cases have come down, robbery 82% cases have done down, female crime against women 56% conviction, which is double the national average rate of 26%. UP is the #1 state in conviction.
And if we're just talking about the bulldozer action, Talha Rashadi, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, when you raise objections to bulldozers being used, I suspect it is not very much because of the legality or concerns about कि भाई 2 notice गए थे कि नहीं गए थे, because the same thing was done last month in Rajasthan. where you had the accused of the paper leak, he was already in jail, Bhupendra Saran. While he was in jail, उसके घर के ऊपर बुलडोजर चला दिया गया. मैंने तो आपसे एक भी बात नहीं सुनी कि भूपेंद्र सरन के घर पे क्यों बुलडोजर चला रहे हैं अशोक गहलोत जी. उनको क्या 3 नोटिसेस दिए गए थे? So much so the family went to the high court and got a stay so that they are given time to respond to a notice. But when it happens to Atiq Ahmed, you are like, oh, ये तो law and order problem है. Tala Rashadi. Why?
Padmaja, the bulldozer culture in itself is illegal, unlawful and wrong. Be it in Rajasthan, be it in Delhi, be it in UP or be it in anywhere in the country. कानपुर में जो ब्राह्मण परिवार जिसने आत्महत्या कर लिया, बुलडोजर उसके ऊपर चला गया, वो भी गलत था. बुलडोजर कहीं और भी चलाया जाए, वो भी गलत है. ये जो धाराओं की बात कर रहे हैं, ये म्युनिसिपल उसकी बात कर रहे हैं. एक कॉलोनी में बुलडोजर जाता है जहाँ पे 20 मकान.
Okay, if that is the case, sir, if that is the case and you think that it is against the law, I urge you very strongly to immediately file a public interest litigation in West Bengal, where there is a law that has been brought in to attach the property of anyone who is engaging in violence. You must stiffly resist that as well. And when we are talking about adding a communal angle to actions taken against lawbreakers, also remember that if the lawbreakers have rights, if the mafia have rights, their victims also had rights. They didn't deserve to die unspoken for and unsung. Thanks very much, all gentlemen. Sumaya Rana for joining me. Thanks for watching.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
mm एक्स्ट्रा, लंबा व्हील बेस, सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा जगह. यह है कहानी BMW 3GL की. Namaste Times Drive family. I'm Kranti Sambhav. Welcome to the first drive review of BMW 3 Series GL यानी Grand Limousine, जो obviously regular 3 Series से ज्यादा लंबी है. व्हील बेस के हिसाब से कुछ एक चेंजेस इसमें हुए हैं, तो इस वजह से ये हम वीडियो कर रहे हैं उन चेंजेस के बारे में बताने के लिए और ये भी जानने के लिए कि जो दावा है कंपनी का सेकेंड रो.
The News Hour at 10.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi criticizes India at Cambridge University in London, says democracy is at risk owing to blatant censorship. The Gandhi scion also made a bizarre remark on Kashmir, claims he was warned about possible terror attack but terrorists didn't harm him.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं मोहुल, who's founder and CEO of Matter. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So Mohul, we've already seen this bike. I still don't know what you guys going to call it right now, but hopefully, we're going to know about it in a couple of months, I believe, and more details that we already know about specifications and what you are offering with this bike. But उसके अलावा कुछ और चीज़ें हैं जिनकी डिटेल्स अभी आनी बाकी हैं. So इस बाइक को लेकर थोड़ा टाइमलाइन, इफ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन किस तरह का टाइमलाइन रहने वाला है एंड कब इसका ऑफिशियली लॉन्च आप करने वाले हैं.
Definitely. So first thing is at the Auto Expo we have also showcased the 6 kilowatt version of the bike. So at launch we had a 5 kilowatt version. Now we also have a 6 kilowatt version of the bike. And in terms of timeline, in the next 30 days we will be giving out the spec variants and pricing to the larger market. We will be opening up bookings for the Matter motorbike this quarter, and deliveries summer में शुरू हो जाने वाली है.
शुरू हो जाएंगी. So एक चीज़ जो बहुत ही टेक्नोलॉजी का हूँ इंटरेस्टिंग है इस बाइक के बारे में, इसमें गियर है.
Yep.
इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक होने के साथ साथ इसमें वो आइस वाला आपने एसेंस और बहुत बड़ा एसेंस इसमें बचा के रखा है. सो वो कैसे आपने उस पर काम किया एंड हाउ डिड यू थॉट अबाउट दिस कि ये अगर हम इसमें इंक्लूड कर पाते हैं gear shift वाला pattern. So वो कैसे start हुआ? How
So
did
when we in 2019 when we were starting out, we spoke to a lot of consumers. Electric bike क्यों नहीं खरीदते? In 2019 there were only a handful of players who were giving motorcycles as a product, and what we realized is that motorcycling is emotion driven. You name your bike, you work with it, you control it, you become one with your bike, and from there the common theme came, control नहीं मिल रहा, feel नहीं आ रही, and obviously once we started translating कि हमें क्या सुनाई दे रहा है और कस्टमर को क्या चाहिए, and we've spoken to over 500 customers on this. Clear indication, gear तो चाहिए, and that's when we said कि let's make something that the consumers truly want. ऐसा नहीं कि जो टेक्नोलॉजी है उसी को वापस पैकेज करके दे देते हैं, let's make it. तो वहाँ से when the journey started, we had to make our own motors, we had to make the gearboxes, the batteries, the electronics, the entire vehicle from scratch.
And nobody would have, I believe nobody would have thought of जितने भी EVs, two-wheelers इंडिया में अब आ रहे हैं, ये gear वाला किसी ने, I think
we are the first in India to have actually put gears on a
electric bike
or an electric two-wheeler.
So I mean ये एक चीज़ है जो स्टैंड आउट करती है मैटर को बाकी सभी EVs या और भी जो ब्रांड्स ऑलरेडी मौजूद है मार्केट में. इसके अलावा आई हैव सीन वहाँ पे एक कॉन्सेप्ट खड़ा है, एंड देयर इज वन कॉन्सेप्ट ओवर देयर, एंड दिस वन आई रियली लव इट राइट नाउ. आई होप ये जिस शेप में है एटलीस्ट 70-80% इसका ये शेप वैसे का ही जब